This is Husky Softball on the Washington Sports Network from IMG College. Brought to you by Alaska Airlines and Horizon Air. For the lowest fares guaranteed, visit alaskaair.com. Now, Husky Softball.
After winning their 18th regional of their history this past weekend, the Washington Husky softball team has hit the road, and they're now in Columbia, Missouri, to take on the razor-sharp teeth of the Missouri Tigers here in Columbia, right smack dab in the middle of the state. How you doing, Husky softball fans? It's Mike Brown coming to you live from University Field on the campus of the University of Missouri. Big game tonight, game one of a best-of-3 super regional series. Whoever survives this best-of-3 series will move on to the World Series in Oklahoma City beginning on Thursday. Tonight's Husky broadcast is brought to you in part by the North Lake Tavern, where dog fans have celebrated for 57 years. By Mitchell Moving and Storage, dependable quality service since 1952. Also by 272 Grill and Bar, it's what you want. By George's Eastside Shell, featuring good old-fashioned auto repairs. And also by Sound Oil Company, keeping you comfortable year-round. Huskies have been here since Wednesday, maybe a little earlier that they were traveled than normal. I'll talk about that and the fact that the Huskies are taking on a tough pitcher in Chelsea Thomas with head coach Heather Tarr right after this timeout.
Neighbor, like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW neighborhood clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9, Digital HD3 Seattle.
Fire sprinkler systems are reliable, economical, and proven to be the best way to protect your family and home. Don't take a chance on losing your home, your possessions, and even your loved ones. Contact Nortec Fire Protection today. With years of experience, they're experts in design and installation of quality fire sprinkler systems. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial applications, they are your solution provider. Contact them at 888-995-9900 or visit them on the web at nortecfire.com.
Since 1950, Sound Oil Company has built a reputation as a leader in the heating oil industry. Their prices and service combine to give you the best value when it comes to home heating oil. What you may not know is that Sound Oil is also a leader in air conditioning services. For complete sales, service, and installation of energy-efficient air conditioning units, you can trust Sound Oil. Find them online at soundoil.com. Sound Oil Company, keeping you comfortable year-round.
Do you remember the 1940s? Many of us don't. But there's a company in town that does. It's K.C. Martin Automotive and K.C. Martin Transmissions, established in 1948. A lot has changed since then, but choose K.C. Martin for your automotive needs and you'll still get the same professional service that folks enjoyed over 60 years ago. Their goal is still to provide the latest in technology, the highest quality, the most affordable rate, and to do it at a minimum amount of time.
K.C. Martin Automotive Service and K.C. Martin Transmission at kcmartin.com.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
Hey, Lewis. Did you see my proposal to Horizon Air and Alaska Airlines?
The one about you wanting to identify all the Huskies and Cougars flying Alaska and Horizon out of Seattle?
Yeah.
So that Alaska and Horizon can designate one side of the aisle for Huskies.
And the other side for Cougars.
Yeah, who wouldn't see the brilliance of that?
Do you know how many Huskies and Cougars fly together each day from Seattle? Well, what better way to bring them together?
How about the football game?
Lewis, Alaska and Horizon serve Seattle with the most flights to the most cities. And seated across from each other, before long, Huskies and Cougars will realize, hey, we're not so different.
Feel the love.
Harmony, not rivalry.
I think we need to test your theory.
Yeah?
I'll sit here, and you go sit somewhere else.
Alaska Airlines and Horizon Air offer more flights to more cities from Seattle than any other airline in the Northwest. Find the lowest fares on Alaska and Horizon at alaskaair.com.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Back live at University Field in Columbia, Missouri. Mike Brown here on the pregame show. We apologize. We're having some technical difficulties, and as a result, we're going to skip over the Heather Tarr show and go right into our starting lineups. I'll try to summarize what Heather told me in our pre-recorded interview a little bit later on. First of all, the starting lineups as they get ready to introduce the players here before Game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional Series right here on the University of Missouri. Okay, leading things off for the Huskies, designated as the visiting team. Leading off will be center fielder Kimmy Pullman. Shortstop Jen Salling will bat second. She'll be followed by first baseman Nikki Williams in the number 3 spot. Pitcher Caitlin Inglesby will get back cleanup. Then it's third baseman Morgan Stewart in the number 5 hole. Catcher Shauna Wright will bat 6th. Left fielder Victoria Hayward will bat 7th. In the number 8 spot, it's designated player Jenna Clifton. And baseman Maggie Wagner will bat 9th. In the starting lineup defensively only is right fielder Ashley Tuiasosopo. And in the circle for the Huskies is right-hander Caitlin Inglesby, a 6'1" freshman out of Portland, Oregon. Caitlin comes into tonight's ball game with a record of 25-8 and an ERA of 2.26. She's making her 42nd appearance and 26th start of 2011. Now for the hometown Missouri Tigers. Leading off will be center fielder Rhea Taylor. Jenna Marston, the shortstop, will bat second. She'll be followed by third baseman Nicole Hudson in the number 3 spot. Right fielder Ashley Fleming will bat cleanup. In the number 5 spot, it's first baseman Catherine Lee. Designated player Marla Schweisberger will bat 6th. Left fielder Lisa Simmons will bat 7th. In the 8 hole, it's catcher Megan Christopher. Batting 9th is second baseman Abby Vaught. And in the circle, the young lady you've probably heard quite a bit about already, and if you haven't, we're going to be talking about her quite a bit today. It's right-hander Chelsea Thomas, a 5'10" sophomore out of Pleasantville, Iowa. Thomas is 29-6 this season with a sparkling ERA of 0.82. She's making her 40th appearance and 36th start of 2011, her redshirt sophomore season. So there you have it, the starting lineups for tonight's Game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional Series. Back with the start of the ball game after this timeout.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com.
A manager relies on a series of signs to send his message to the players on the field. Your business needs more than hand signals to get its message out. That's why business leaders throughout the area rely on Tubart Group. From the initial design to final installation, their knowledgeable staff can show you the most creative solutions to fit your needs and your budget. So call the pros the Huskies use. The design experts at Tubart Group at 206-223-1122 or log on to www.tubart.com.
Back live at University Field, Game 1 of the best-of-3 Super Regional Series between the 14th-ranked Washington Huskies and the number 5-ranked Missouri Tigers about to get underway. Welcome back. It's Mike Brown here on the pregame show. We do apologize for previous technical difficulties. Hopefully we've gotten that cleared up, and we will have a clear sail from here until the end of Game 1. Well, I didn't get a chance to air the pregame show that I recorded with Heather Tarr, but a couple of key points. Number one, Jaren Fa'asua, who's been out of the lineup since the Stanford series about a month ago, has been cleared to play. She's been sidelined with a concussion and she passed a neurological test administered by a University of Missouri doctor and is available to play in tonight's game. She's not in the starting lineup, but she is available to hit, run bases, or even come in defensively for head coach Heather Tarr. The other big thing is Chelsea Thomas, who has an outstanding drop, also a change, and a rise ball, and she's been getting talked about quite a bit over the last week, if not her entire career up to this point. Time now for me to bring in my broadcast partner, a guy who struggled but successfully defanged the Missouri Tiger mascot before the game, and he's got the bite marks to prove it. It's my color commentator, John Cowley. Johnny!
Thank goodness it wasn't a real tiger. It was just the guy in the suit. It made it a little easier to defang.
Yeah, I know. And I'll tell you, we got not a hostile crowd by any means here, but I'm telling you, they're a loud crowd here at University Field for Missouri, aren't they?
They're very friendly, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
You walk around, they're very kind, very accommodating people, but they are here to root for their Missouri Tigers, and it is a full crowd. Not only are they in the stands, there's a golf course that sits on the other side of the stadium, and they're even standing on the golf course by the practice green.
The Missouri faithful are not thinking about just a super regional win. They're not thinking about an appearance in the World Series. They're thinking about a national title. They've been to the World Series the last 2 years. They're a top 10 ranked club, and they have a pitcher that can carry them there in Chelsea Thomas. And, John, I don't know if we've heard more about her, possibly more about her than any pitcher leading into a game since we started doing games together over 10 years ago.
Well, you know, Kat Osterman we heard quite a bit about before we saw her down in Texas in a super regional. But there's a lot of pressure being put on Chelsea Thomas. Her coach is making comparisons with her to Michelle Smith, to Kat Osterman, and I don't know if she's quite to that level yet. She hasn't been to the World Series and won games, and she has been to a World Series, but she hasn't won any games there yet. So let's let her career play out before we ordain her the next of anything in softball pitching.
I agree. She did lose a game last weekend in the regional that the Tigers hosted. She was beaten by DePaul, but the Tigers came out of the losers bracket, swept a doubleheader from DePaul in the championship round, and finished it off with a no-hitter by Chelsea Thomas. Right now, it's Kimmy Pullman stepping in against the right-hander, and once again, some words on Thomas. 29-6 record with an ERA of 0.82. So here's Pullman now, ready to get things underway. The first pitch to Kimmy is low and outside, 1-0. A jam-packed University Field here on this Friday evening, or check that, Saturday evening, Game 1 of the Best of 3 Super Regional Series. Game 2 scheduled for tomorrow night, and immediately afterward, Game 3 if necessary. Next pitch to Kimmy, and that one is a called strike as she's taking all the way. Once again, Thomas known most for her drop ball, but she also has a killer changeup and has added a rise ball to her repertoire as well. But she relies on that drop a lot. Next delivery on the way from the right-hander. There's the change, and that drops in for a called strike. She's out in front of Pullman, 1-2.
The other thing about Chelsea Thomas is she throws hard. She's been recorded as high as 73, though they say last weekend they saw a drop in her velocity down to the 62 to 65 range, so we don't know what she's throwing here today.
Next pitch on the way to Pullman now, and that one just misses outside. Good eye by Kimmy. Here's the umpiring crew for Game 1. Behind the plate is Jeff Sloan, John Kernat up the first baseline, and Glenda Bates up the third base line. Again, the count 2-2 on Pullman. Leading off the ball game here, we're just underway. Looking to get on base, get something going. Next pitch, check swing. Did she go around? They're going to appeal to the third base umpire Bates, and she says yes. Pullman went around for a swinging strikeout, 1 out here in the first.
And if not the strikeout pitch, but the pitch before is any indication, I think Chelsea Thomas may have found some of that velocity back. That ball was just outside, but it came in as hard as we're normally seeing pitches thrown, Mike.
Weather at game time, 66 degrees, overcast, winds 9 miles per hour. So good softball conditions as the first pitch to Jen Selling is in for a called strike. We just got to hope the rain holds off. We've had ominous-looking clouds most of the day, and right now a mixture of light blue and gray up above us. Next delivery from Thomas is up high, and that evens the count at 1-1 on Jen Selling.
It's kind of a slate gray, a blue-gray throughout the sky, but haven't had the raindrops yet.
Next delivery now from Thomas. There's a change, and Salling went around, could not hold up, says Jeff Sloan behind the plate. It's all 1-2 on Jen Salling.
This is a crowd that is in it from the first pitch, Mike. Chelsea Thomas gets ahead, and they get really excited.
The next pitch. There's a pitch in for a called strike as Salling gets rung up by the home plate umpire. Strikeout looking, out number 2, and that'll bring up Nikki Williams.
Now, the hardest part of that play was getting the throw down to first to start it around. Megan Christopher went to throw the ball and ran out right into Jeff Sloan as he was coming forward to call strike 3. So Huskies have got to get the bats off the shoulder, Mike.
Here's Nikki Williams now. First pitch swinging at a change that's down low. She couldn't hold up on that one. And the Huskies definitely having a hard time figuring out the pitches of Chelsea Thomas. They've seen a lot of film on her this past week, but Heather Tard told us over breakfast this morning, until you step in there against that live pitching, you really don't know. Next delivery, and that's a called strike, and she is all over the strike zone of the plate umpire, Jeff Sloan. 0-2 on Williams.
And she does throw hard, Mike. At velocity she lost last week, they made a couple of mechanical adjustments in her delivery, and it seems to have made a significant difference.
Now the 0-2 pitch to Nikki. Here she comes, and it's low and inside. So Nikki will see at least one more from the right-hander, Chelsea Thomas.
And just like the Huskies haven't seen Chelsea Thomas, Missouri has not seen Caitlin Inglesby yet either. So there's an advantage to both sides on that.
Here's Thomas into her line. This pitch swung on, driven deep, but foul down the left field line. And nice to see somebody hit the ball against Thomas, at least make contact.
And she put a charge in it. That's a ball that got up in the zone, and Nikki turned on it. Looked like the changeup because she was out in front of it. Hit it square on the button. Bounced off the wall, foul. Would not have had home run depth. It wasn't high enough.
Williams with a good regional, drove in 6 runs last weekend. Here comes the next pitch to her, and that's a called strike. Boy, it looked a little high, but Jeff Sloan wasted no time calling her out. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts, 1, 2, 3 for the Huskies in the top of the first. We'll go to the bottom of the inning with the score. The Huskies nothing, and the Tigers coming to bat.
The key to winning for the Huskies is teamwork. It's the same when seeking legal counsel. When it comes to personal injury, automobile accident, and workers' compensation representation, more people are teaming up with the law office of William Hochberg. They have experience you can trust, and they'll take the time to explain your rights. Find them online at hochberglaw.net or visit them in downtown Edmonds, where they have plenty of free parking. The law office of William Hochberg. Help is on the way.
For the second time in its 16-year history, Pioneer Radio and Sports relocated its offices. And just like the first time, when it was time to make the move, there was only one call to make. Mitchell Moving and Storage. They helped Pioneer prepare for the move ahead of time, got it done in a day, and the company had minimal downtime. Here's Pioneer President and General Manager Mark Meininger.
Let's face it, moving isn't fun. It's especially unnerving when you're moving an entire office of computers, furniture, file cabinets, and specialized equipment. I had my hands full with our move. The one thing I didn't have to worry about was Mitchell. They made it easy. Every person I spoke with and met was friendly and helpful, from the front office staff to the guys on the day of the move to the follow-up personnel. In fact, the move went so smoothly that I had Mitchell handle a personal move for me as well. Nobody likes moving, but whether you're a homeowner or a business owner like me, you won't go wrong with Mitchell Moving and Storage.
For your next move, whether it's across the street or across the country, you can rely on Mitchell. Find out more at mitchellmoving.com. Mitchell Moving and Storage, your home team movers and loyal fans of your Diamond Dogs.
Well, the Huskies playing defense for the first time in the ball game after going down 1-2-3 on back-to-back-to-back strikeouts from Chelsea Thomas. Washington now having to throw the leather at the Missouri Tigers, who will send up Rhea Taylor, Jenna Marston, and Nicole Hudson. And John, I'll tell you what, we hear so much about Chelsea Thomas, it's easy to forget that they got a pretty good hitting ball club as well, don't they?
Oh, they certainly do. They hit 308 on the season, and in their regional last week as a team, they hit 331. So they've got players who put the bat on the ball, and in Rhea Taylor at the top of the lineup, they have one of the faster players in all of softball. Last week in the Super Regional against DePaul, she had a single up the middle to the center fielder, that she turned into a double just with blazing speed. So they'll have to keep an eye on that.
And speaking of speed, the Tigers have stolen a total of 103 bases this season. Compare that to the Huskies, who are known as a pretty good base stealing team. They only have 61. And Rhea Taylor, who John was just talking about, has stolen 41 out of 43 this year. So it's going to be important for Caitlin Inglesby and the Husky defense to keep Taylor off the base paths to get their offense generated. Caitlin Inglesby, the 6'1" freshman out of Portland, Oregon, pretty much ready to go to work here against this Tiger lineup. Caitlin comes into the ball game with a record of 25-8. Her ERA is at 2.26. She throws a rise, a drop, a screw, and a pretty good changeup of her own. Ready to go to work on Rhea Taylor. Here comes the first pitch from Inglesby. It's swung on and slapped foul and out of play. Taylor really the only slap hitter in the lineup for Missouri. But boy, she can get on base.
And you got Morgan Stewart playing even closer than normal. She's over halfway down the line at third base, trying to get the ball before Taylor can get down there to first.
Taylor's on base percentage, 401, as the next pitch to her is low and outside. 1-0 on Rhea Taylor as the Husky infield charging in from the corners. Expected her to maybe lay down a bunt, do the small ball thing for sure.
She certainly squared around like she was going to try and put something down.
Taylor, a left-handed hitter, leading things off offensively for Missouri here in the first. And the pitch on the way. Slapped at, hit to the left side, sailing up with it, throws across the body to first base on the money, and they got Taylor. That's why Jen Salling was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Pac-10. She got the ball to her right a little bit, almost even with third base, came up with it and just threw across the body, sidearm, right on the money, almost right on the money. Nikki Williams had to do a little stretch, but held on, and they got Taylor. That's a big out.
Great play by Jen, and like you said, she didn't have time to come up and throw. She threw that from her ankles. It's amazing.
First pitch on the way now to Jenna Marston, the shortstop, high and inside. That's a nice lift for Washington defensively, just to get that first out.
And that's going to be a key, I think, if the Huskies are going to compete in this series. They're going to have to play solid defense.
Next pitch to Marston now. Taken all the way, it's in for a called strike, 1-1. Jenna Marston, batting .329, 2 homers and 20 RBIs. Another left-handed hitter up there facing Caitlin Inglesby.
All Big 12 first-teamer.
Now Caitlin into her line. The pitch. Another called strike. She's out in front of the hitter now, 1-2.
You look at the awards for Missouri, it's interesting. Some of their all Big 12 first-teamers didn't make Pacific Region. Some of their all Big 12 second-teamers did make a Midwest Regional. So kind of interesting how it worked out for these Missouri Tigers.
It's all about the voters. Now Inglesby to the plate. The pitch swung on, shot to the right side. It's going to be Wagner, has the ball dribble off her glove, and that'll be an infield error on Maggie Wagner, allowing Marston to get on. That was pretty much a tailor-made hopper, and Wagner didn't have to move to her left, to her right. She just had to come in and get the ball and let it go off her glove.
The ball had a tremendous amount of spin on it. It was a hit off the top, and when it got to that third bounce, I think is where it really made it a more difficult play for Maggie. She'd been able to charge that, get that on the second bounce. She probably had a better chance of making the play.
So Marston on at first base with 1 out. Here's the number 3 hitter, Nicole Hudson. Pitch on the way, and that's down in the dirt. Marston over at first, has base stealing ability. She's 11 for 11 this season. So the Huskies, and particularly Shauna Wright, going to have to be aware of what's going on the base paths for Missouri. Marston is the first base runner of the ball game. After Washington went down 1-2-3 in the top half of this first, the pitch, and that's a called strike to make it 1-1 on Nicole Hudson. Missouri, no stranger to the postseason, and they become no stranger to the Women's College World Series, having gone a total of 5 times, including the last 2 years. And the pitch. Swung on. There's a drive out in the left center field into the gap. Going to go all the way to the wall. Pullman will pick it up. Here comes Marston around third. No, she's going to be held up as the relay comes in and is cut off by Nikki Williams. But a double by Nicole Hudson puts runners on at second and third, and just one out, and their cleanup hitter, who knows how to tattoo the ball, Ashley Fleming, coming to the plate.
And that was a ball that came in with some velocity and went out with even greater velocity, got by Kimmy Pullman. But obviously, Earlywine has heard the scouting report on Jen Salling's arm because he put the stops on as the runner came around on third base. He did not want Marston trying to score on Jen Salling's arm. Sometimes your reputation helps keep runs off the board as well.
So the Huskies, not scored on, at least not yet, have a chance to try to keep Missouri right at no runs. But they got a big chore ahead of them, as there's no force on the base pass, 2 runners in scoring position, and the very difficult Ashley Fleming at the plate. Another left-handed hitter. And the first pitch on the way to Fleming. Check swing. Looks like it went off her bat for a foul. So that'll be 0-1 on Fleming. Fleming's batting .365. She leads the Tigers with 14 home runs and 60 RBIs. And she is in a genuine RBI situation right here with runners on at second and third. Husky infield playing in, hoping for a ground ball to keep a run from scoring. The pitch on the way. Check swing. And they're going to appeal down to third base, and Bates says she did not go around. That was close, but the count will be 1-1 on Ashley Fleming.
In the regional, Fleming had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
Infield continues to play in for Washington. Here comes the next pitch from Inglesby. It's a bounce, bounces in, and stopped nicely by Shauna Wright to keep a run from coming in from third on a wild pitch.
It's important, though, if Caitlin's going to have success against this Missouri lineup, that she's able to change speeds. When you look at the pitchers who've had success throughout the Super Regionals so far, that's what they've been able to do. Chelsea Thomas did a great job of it, and Caitlin at least showing the change.
Next delivery from Inglesby now. And that one's in for a called strike, so she evens the count at 2-2 on Ashley Fleming. Runners at second and third for Missouri. No score in the ball game, just one out here in the bottom of the first. Runners got on by an error and a double. Just one out. Huskies really could use this second one. Here comes the pitch, and it is way inside. And the count's going to be full now on Ashley Fleming. It wouldn't be the end of the world if they walked her, because it would put a tough hitter on base and create a force situation all the way around.
First base is open, leading RBI producer. You're going to be careful, but Caitlin is pitching to her. She's not putting her on intentionally, that's for sure.
The count is full, and the pitch, a change, swung on, hit to the right side. Wagner's going to glove it, shovel to first base to get the sure out. And on the play, Marston will come in from third base and make it a 1-0 ball game in favor of Missouri. And this is a situation here, if you're a Husky fan, where if you get this next batter and get out of the inning down 1-0, you're okay with that for the most part.
As we were talking to the coaching staff this morning, they were saying, this is super regional play. Things are going to happen, and it's how do you react to it? Can you put a tourniquet on it? Can you stop the bleeding, suture it up? And by getting the out, they've got the 2 outs. Now it's time for Caitlin Inglesby to go to work on Catherine Lee, who's just a .264 hitter, and try and keep any more runs from coming in.
On that RBI ground out, Hudson moved into third base. First pitch to Lee now, swung on and fouled back. So the Tigers do have a potential second run just 60 feet away in Nicole Hudson at third base.
And that
the run that scored was unearned, by the way, because it would have been the third out of the inning, and the runner who scored, Marston, got on by way of an error.
We said defense is going to be important, and the Huskies have got to clean it up.
Next pitch on the way to Lee. Change, swung on and fouled away quickly, 0-2, and Inglesby 1 strike from getting out of his first inning.
Lee, far more aggressive than some of the earlier Missouri players, and she's swinging at every pitch that's thrown. So it'd be nice to see Caitlin go with a rise ball, get something up out of the zone, and see if she can get Lee swinging at it.
Inglesby's got the sign from Shauna Wright. Now back into her line. Here comes the pitch, and this one is outside, as you might expect, with the count 0-2. So I'll make it 1-2 on Catherine Lee. Not only batting .264, she does have 7 homers and 29 RBIs. It's rather easy to hit home runs out here. The dimensions down the right and left field line, just 190 feet. The pitch swung out and missed, and the Huskies get out of the first inning, but not before they give up one run on one hit, one error, and a runner left on base. After one full inning of play, it's Washington 1, Missouri 1, and the Huskies nothing.
Are you a building owner, engineer, or contractor in the industrial and commercial marketplace? CM Hoskins Company is your source for vibration isolation, seismic restraint, thermometer gauges, and accessories. CM Hoskins Company, in the business of vibration isolation and seismic restraint of commercial and industrial heating and ventilating equipment since 1976. Put our wealth of knowledge and experience to work for you. Call 206-366-1100.
Craving the flavor of the big city? Don't want to make the drive, hassle with parking, or pay the premium? Then stop by 272 Grill and Bar in Covington. We're an upscale East Side restaurant bringing the flavors of downtown's finest restaurants to Covington. Come early for our bistro-style breakfast, have a quick and delicious lunch, dine the night away for dinner, or relax with friends in our bar with live music Fridays and Saturdays. Find us at 272grillandbar.com or visit us in Covington off Kent Kangley.
Missouri leads it by the score of 1-0 over the Washington Huskies as we go to inning number 2. The Huskies sending up Caitlin Englesby, Morgan Stewart, and Shauna Wright. They'll get their first look at Chelsea Thomas, the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. I'm Mike Brown along with John Cowley. Glad you could join us for our broadcast here on 1150 AM KKNW. We will be with Washington for the rest of the season, and hopefully that will end with a trip to the World Series. But they're going to have to get busy here in Game 1, start scoring some runs against a very difficult pitcher in Chelsea Thomas. Thomas threw a 6-inning no-hitter to close out the regional last weekend against DePaul. They had to come out of the loser's bracket to do it, and they did, taking 2 from DePaul this past Sunday. She is one of 3 finalists now for the Collegiate Player of the Year. At the beginning of the year, they have a list of 50 potential winners. They whittle it down to 25 and then down to 10, and now they got it down to 3. And she is one of those 3 candidates for Player of the Year, which will be announced just before the World Series begins next week.
The other 2 are position players. Caitlin Boyd, the shortstop from Arizona State, and the other is Ashley Hansen from Stanford University. So we've got 2 Pac-10 players up for the top Player of the Year. Of course, that's an award that Danielle Laurie was the first player to ever win that award and then go on to win a national championship. And she actually won that award 2 years in a row in 2009 and 2010.
Danielle now down in Florida training for the Pro League. That'll get underway, what was that, John? End of June, middle of July, something like that?
Yeah, they wait for the college season, obviously, for those players who've been drafted to get to the team. And there's 4 teams in the league. They'll play throughout the summer. And a lot of players who used to play for the national team have decided to play for the Pro League to try and give it a chance to grow here this year with the Olympics not hosting softball.
Caitlin Englesby, the leadoff for Washington here in the second, takes a pitch up high for ball 1. 1-0 on Caitlin, who was outstanding. She was, without question, the best offensive player for the Huskies in the regional last weekend. She batted .857 in that regional. That comprised 3 games for Washington. Takes the next pitch. It's a called strike. Her on-base percentage was .900, and her slugging percentage was 1,143. She did as good a job as you could expect a player to do in a regional. And she won all 3 games in the circle. Up there offensively now. Here comes the pitch. It swung on and fouled away. She was behind on that pitch for sure. 1-2 on Englesby.
You see the Huskies making the adjustment to the speed of Chelsea Thomas. They are back in the box as far as they can go. And even being as far back, with the great hand-eye coordination that Caitlin has, she was well behind that last pitch.
Here's Thomas now into a line. Next delivery, a change bounces in to even the count at 2-2. Most of that noise you hear in the background are the Husky players in the dugout, cheering on, showing their enthusiasm, and trying to get something going offensively with Englesby at the plate. Caitlin is batting .427 overall this year. Swings at the next pitch. It's a high chopper to short. Gloved over there by Marston, who throws on the money for out number 1. So that's the first Husky player at the plate to put the ball in play against Chelsea Thomas. So a small amount of improvement, I guess, John, but still a long way to go.
And you're going to say it's going to be hard for the Huskies to get the ball through the infield because this infield plays very, very deep. They're all back on the grass except for the third baseman who's up even with the bag. But even at first base, she's back out on the grass where the dirt and the grass meet. So Missouri defense plays very, very deep.
First pitch to Morgan Stewart, a called strike. Next delivery now to the third baseman. Again, a called strike, too. So Stewart in a hole early at 0-2. Morgan batted .200 in last weekend's regional. Included a triple off the wall in right center field. Now the next delivery on the way, and that's down low and inside. Make it 1-2 on Stewart. Not only is it hard to get a ball through the infield, as John was describing, it's hard to get one over the fence against Thomas because of that drop ball. Not too many balls get hit in the air against her. The pitch, change, swung on, chopper foul up the third base line. So Stewart will see at least one more from Chelsea Thomas.
If that ball stays fair, she's got a good chance of beating it out because of how deep Hudson is over there at third, and it was taking her away from first base. She was going to have to stop, pivot, and make a throw. Morgan might have been able to beat that out. Unfortunately, couldn't keep it fair.
Again, the 1-2 pitch to Stewart. High and outside. Good eye. She laid off of the heat. Looked like that rise ball right there that Thomas mixes into her repertoire. That'll leave the count at 2-2. To Morgan Stewart, one out in the top of the second. Huskies trailing 1-0. Next pitch. Swung on. Chopper hit up the first base line. Got to be gloved in foul territory. And Stewart will stay alive at the plate, hanging tough with the count 2-2.
You know, Mike, I didn't know Jen Salling also played drums, but apparently she does. There's a cooler in there with some sort of a lid on it. She takes two bats, and as the pitch starts, she starts beating on that cooler.
She's doing it right now as Thomas comes to the plate. Swing and a miss by Morgan Stewart. She is already the fourth strikeout victim of Chelsea Thomas. Two gone here in the second, nobody on for number 6 hitter Shauna Wright.
When you throw that fast, you got about 3.5 of a second to decide whether to swing, and it looks like it's going to be in. She threw a nice rise ball there, just jumped out over Morgan's back.
First pitch on the way to Shauna. This is down low, 1-0. Wind blowing to straightaway center field. If someone does get it up in the air, it might help out. It's not real strong, though. Measured at 9 miles per hour at the start of the game. It's picked up a little bit. The pitch. And that one, a called strike to Shauna, taken all the way. Count now 1-1. Game time temperature was 66 degrees with overcast skies. And we have not seen a drop of rain, although it's been Seattle-like here for sure today. There's a change in for a called strike, and a count now 1-2 on Shauna Wright.
Chelsea Thomas, known for that drop ball, but she's getting a lot of calls, Mike, up in the zone.
That one down near the knees. As Thomas comes to the plate again. Fast worker swinging a chopper hit down the third base line, foul. Gloved nicely by Hudson, but home plate umpire Sloan all over it. So the count will still be 1-2 on Wright.
It's kind of an odd regional, Mike, because here we are playing our very first game, and we've got half the field set for the College World Series. So Huskies a little late coming to the dance.
We'll get you up on the scoreboard a little bit later on as the next pitch misses up high. Good eye by Shauna Wright. The count now 2-2 with 2 out and nobody on here in the top of the second inning. Missouri leads it 1-0. Huskies trying to get something going with 2 out. Right at the plate, the pitch, and a called strike 3 as she was fooled on that one. That is the third called strikeout for the Huskies in the ballgame. They go down 1-2-3 here in the second. We'll go to the bottom of the inning with the score. Missouri 1, Washington 0.
When your car needs service, you can trust the certified master technicians at Northwest Automotive. Whether your car needs repairs or just a routine oil change, the professionals at Northwest Automotive have the skill and experience to do the job right. Experience total auto care with the Northwest difference. Personal service, skilled technicians, and a nationwide warranty through AC Delco, valid at 12,000 locations in the U.S. and Canada. Northwest Automotive, proud to have served Husky fans for the last 20 years. See them online at cardocs.com. That's CARDOCS.com.
Are you looking for a late model car, pickup, SUV, or van? Then why not try the James G. Murphy Company Auctioneers? All of our vehicles are sold with no minimum bids or buyer's premium. And our next auction features over 200 late model vehicles. So don't miss this opportunity to bid on the vehicle of your choice. The James G. Murphy Company is located just off Bothell Way on 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore.
For more information about our next auction, call 425-486-1246 or see us on the web at murphyauction.com.
Let's move on to the bottom of the second inning, shall we? A 1-0 lead for the Missouri Tigers. I'm Mike Brown along with John Colley here at University Field on the campus of the University of Missouri in Columbia, right near the center of the state. John and I took a kind of roundabout way to get here a little bit. We flew from Seattle to Atlanta yesterday, then Atlanta to St. Louis, rented a car and drove 2 hours to Columbia. Not exactly a direct route, but we are here and bringing you the action live on 1150 AM KKNW.
And all that travel was fine with me, Mike. It's the flight out that's going to kill me. Or we got to be in St. Louis at 7 a.m., which is about almost a 2-hour drive from here. So we'll have the Starbucks going on the way to St. Louis.
Missouri will come to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. Marla Schweisberger, Lisa Simmons, and Megan Christopher due up against Caitlin Inglesby. Inglesby allowing an unearned run, that because of a fielding error charged to Maggie Wagner at second base for Washington. The Tigers come into this ball game ranked number 4 nationally by ESPN.com and USA Softball. In the NFCA poll, they're down to number 8, but they are the number 5 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. That's out of 64 teams. They're making their 5th consecutive tournament appearance and their 15th tournament appearance overall. So here's Marla Schweisberger to lead things off. First pitch from Caitlin Inglesby, misses up high, and the count 1-0. Schweisberger batting .330. She has 3 home runs and 30 RBIs. Right-handed hitter, batting in the number 6 spot for head coach Aaron Earlywine. Next pitch on the way, swung on and popped fouled on the left field line and out of play, so the count will be even at 1-1.
You know, Mike, we are in Missouri, but just for those fans who haven't looked at where Columbia it is, it's in the middle of the state, and a lot of news about Joplin, Missouri. That's quite a ways. It's in the southwest corner of the state, so we haven't seen any of that, but we know that the folks around here are thinking about Joplin, Missouri.
Next pitch to Schweisberger, and that's a change that misses down low. Yeah, in fact, they were taking up a collection from fans on the way in to help with the relief efforts down there in Joplin, which, boy, not only did they have the tornado that wiped out the southern part of the city, but then some flooding coming in afterward. Feel bad for those folks. Next pitch, swung on, ground ball back up the middle. That's going to be a single. Base hit leading off the bottom of the second inning for Schweisberger, who fought off a pretty tough pitch, but got it back up the middle. And the Tigers in business with the leadoff hitter on base here in the second.
And up and down this lineup, Missouri has shown that they can hit, and we knew that Caitlin Inglesby wasn't going to go through with a no-hitter. It's just a matter of how does she react once she gets these runners on base. Bear down, stay tough.
And rely on your defense. That's the second hit of the ball game allowed by Inglesby. The first was a double by Nicole Hudson. Lisa Simmons due up now. Jen Sally having a quick little talk with the freshman Inglesby, who goes to work now. First pitch on the way to Simmons, a called strike, 0-1.
We talked about how much Missouri likes to run. Schweisberger, though not one of them, she's only 4 for 5 on the season in stolen base attempts.
Now Simmons awaiting the next delivery. Shows bunt momentarily. The pitch misses a little bit outside to even the count at 1-1. I mentioned that the Tigers are making their 15th tournament appearance overall. They did not really distinguish themselves all that well in the early years of making the tournament. Their overall record is 34-30. They've done pretty good recently, though, making it to the Women's College World Series the last 2 years and 5 times overall. And most of that credit goes to their head coach, Aaron Earlywine, who's really got this program jump-started. Next pitch now. Simmons swung on, ground ball hit. That's back up the middle as well. Lead runner Schweisberger is going to put the brakes on at second base with back-to-back singles by the Tigers here in the second inning. They got runners at first and second and nobody out for number 8 hitter Megan Christopher.
And when Caitlin's coming in and getting a little bit more of the plate than she'd like to, the Missouri Tigers are making her pay. They're just short swings, putting it right back up the middle, just like you're taught from early on.
Lance Glasso, the Husky pitching coach, will come out and talk with his battery of Shauna Wright and Caitlin Inglesby. Kind of go over things here before the Huskies get in too much more trouble, if any at all. So we'll see. Missouri with runners on at first and second. They got 3 hits in the ball game now. Washington still looking for their first. Washington wearing their purple top uniforms in tonight's ball game. Got the white pants with the white socks and purple stirrups. Uniform tops have the gold numerals and letters on the front. Meanwhile, Missouri, they're all whites. They got the black and gold letters and numerals, and also the black stripe down the side of the pants with the black socks.
Just says Tigers across the chest. It's a nice classic-looking uniform. You got to like it.
Here's Christopher stepping in now, the right-handed hitting catcher. First pitch to her. Showing bunt, lets it go by, but it's in for a called strike. 0-1. Christopher was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. So Jen Salling, the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. You got a couple of really good players out there for the Washington Huskies and Missouri Tigers. Next pitch on the way to Christopher now. Lays down a bunt. It's going to be a dribbler foul up the third base line. That'll make the count 0-2. That might take the bunt off right here.
Christopher earned that Defensive Player of the Year from behind the plate, where she threw out 43% of the runners who attempted to steal on her. So if the Huskies find their way on base, they've got to be careful in trying to move up against Megan Christopher.
Right now they're just trying to get her out at the plate. Count is 0-2. Here's Inglesby into her line, and the pitch, a change swung on and line foul up the third base line. So still 0-2 on Megan Christopher.
She was around so early on that. The fact that she was able to hit that foul was amazing. She kept the bat back enough to make contact before the ball got too deep in the zone. Put that down along the third base dugout.
So we'll do it again with the count 0-2 on Christopher. Next pitch on the way from Caitlin. That one is a called strike 3. It took a while for Jeff Sloan to get out of his crouch, but he rings up Christopher for out number 1. That's the second strikeout of the ball game for Caitlin Inglesby, and it brings up Abby Vach.
Caitlin took a little bit off that, put it on the outside part of the plate. It's a screwball that broke back onto the black. That was a beautiful pitch. A nice framing job by Shauna Wright, who was able to hold that ball right there on the corner.
Here's Vach now, the number 9 hitter in the Tiger lineup. First pitch on the way to her. Change, swung on a miss, got way out in front of that one. Boy, being aggressive at the plate is Abby Vach.
Abby Vach, more your typical Arizona-type number 9 hitter, though. Hitting .330. The senior, first team, all Big 12 performer out there at second base. So it's not that easy bottom of the lineup hitter.
Vach, a right-handed hitter, awaiting the next delivery. Here it comes, swung on and fouled the other way. And the count quickly 0-2. And I think it's important for Inglesby to get this hitter right here before you go to the top of the lineup for Rhea Taylor.
Missouri Tiger hitters are being very aggressive. They're not waiting to go deep into counts. They're swinging early, swinging often.
Huskies needing to make adjustments there for sure. Here's Inglesby now to the plate, and this pitch is a change that is in for a called strike 3. Beautiful changeup delivered there by Caitlin Inglesby for the second out of the inning.
She had Vach on her front foot, and all Vach could do was watch it float right at her knees down the middle of the plate. Great pitch by Caitlin.
And a big second out as Rhea Taylor will come up and draw the Husky field infielders in all the way around. Taylor thrown out on a beautiful defensive play by Jen Salling in the first, so she's 0 for 1. Tough out is Rhea Taylor. The pitch from Inglesby. Swung on, ground ball hit right to Sally. She's going to go to first and get Rhea by a long ways, a good 10, 12 feet, and that'll do it for Missouri here in the second. No runs. 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 2 full innings of play, the score, Missouri 1, Washington nothing.
Trust. It's something that's earned, not given. If you're looking at having some remodeling done to your home, you want to work with a company you can trust. You can't afford not to. You want the services of Marquis Construction Company. For over 30 years, they've been serving the community with complete remodeling and alteration services. They've been earning Seattle's trust one home at a time. That's Marquis Construction Company. Find them in the Yellow Pages, and remember, they're proud to sponsor UW Athletics.
Youth violence, drugs, and gangs put our entire community at risk. By encouraging our children to participate in positive youth programs today, we'll help them develop the skills they need to become responsible citizens tomorrow. Supervised youth activities can give a youngster the confidence to say no to drugs. A message from McDonald Miller Facility Solutions, where we make buildings work. Find us on at macmiller.com. That's McDonald Miller Facility Solutions, encouraging you to support local sports and youth organizations.
Well, this big obstacle known as the Missouri Tigers, led by Chelsea Thomas, has been calmed a little bit here as we move into the 3rd inning of play. The Huskies giving up an unearned run in the bottom of the 1st, and then getting Missouri on some beautiful pitching by Caitlin Inglesby to get out of the 2nd inning. Now, John, it's time to get busy offensively against the very tough Chelsea Thomas.
Well, they've had an opportunity now to see her for a couple of innings. They know that it's coming in hard. They also see that she's got that nice change-up. She's everything that's been advertised. Again, I'm not ready to ordain her anything yet, but she's certainly showing she has the tools to be one of the best pitchers in college softball, deserving that Player of the Year nomination.
The Huskies have played Missouri 6 times in the past, and Washington has done exceptionally well. They've won 5 of the 6. Their last meeting was a few years ago in 2008. The Huskies shut out the Tigers 6-zip. Now, they were supposed to play one another earlier this year, but they were rained out during the San Diego tournament, which was, I believe, the 2nd weekend of the season. So they didn't get to play. So it's like starting all over again because there's been a lot of turnover on these 2 squads since 2008.
Well, it would have been a lot different. Chelsea Thomas at the beginning of the year, too. She sat out 2010 with a stress fracture in her wrist, and then when she came back early this year, they were limiting her pitch count overall. They were limiting how many of certain types of pitches she could throw. The rise ball was one they thought was maybe putting a little extra strain on the wrist, but towards the end of the season, as they went through and they won the Big 12 championship, they kind of let her loose, and she says there's nothing now. She feels absolutely fantastic, and she looks it out there.
She does indeed. She's retired the side in order in the 1st and 2nd, striking out 5 of the 6 batters that she's faced. Here in the 3rd, she'll face Victoria Hayward, Jenna Clifton, and Maggie Wagner. First pitch on the way to Hayward, swung on and fouled away. She tried to slap her way on. Hayward batting .296 this year, no homers, and 9 RBIs. She kind of distinguished herself pretty well in the win over BYU this past Sunday. She did single and then got the big 5-run rally started with a leadoff walk in the 6th inning. Next pitch is going to miss for ball 1, up a little bit high, 1-1.
And Victoria's one who isn't going to be intimidated by Chelsea Thomas. She's played for the Canadian national team, seen the best pitchers in the world.
Next pitch on the way. Swung on. Is hit to the left side. Going to be gloved by Marston at short. Throws the first, and the ball is there just in time to get Victoria Hayward, who has pretty good speed. And nice to see her put the ball in play. 1 away.
And the defense, when it's a left-handed slapper, they don't play as deep as they do for the right-handers, which is what allowed Marston to be able to make that play. Hopped twice to her, but the hops weren't high enough. And even though Victoria was streaming down there, beat her by a step.
First pitch to Jenna Clifton. Inside. So 1-0 to Clifton, who singled in last Sunday's regional championship win. She was 1 for 4. Looking to get on base with 1 out and nobody on here in the bottom or top of the 3rd. Pitch swung on and chopped foul up the 3rd base line. So 1-1 on Clifton.
And with Jaren Fa'asua available for this game, interesting that Coach Heather Tarr stays with Jenna Clifton, and I think part of that might be, again, she's known for having good bat speed, and you need that against somebody who throws hard like Chelsea Thomas.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. May have gotten just a little piece of that one right there. One way or the other, it's 1-2 on Clifton. Huskies looking for their first base runner of the ball game. There's one out here in the third. The Tigers lead it 1-0. Next delivery on the way to Clifton now. There's a change that drops in for a called strike. Jenna knew it before the fist even came up. She still started heading back to the dugout. And that is out number 2, and she is strikeout victim number 6 in the ball game.
Well, apparently some analysts have called this the best pitch in the country. And she's able to take some off it. It breaks down as it comes across. And when you're looking for 70 miles an hour and you get 50, it's tough to adjust.
Here's Maggie Wagner. Has the bunter way on and fouls it off 0-1. Wags batted .375 in the regional last weekend, scored a couple of runs. She was definitely a contributor for Washington.
Earned all-regional team for her efforts in that region. Done a nice job since switching to the left side of the plate.
Next pitch on the way to Maggie. Swung on a miss. 0-2. Boy, Chelsea Thomas pretty much proven everything we've been hearing about her up to this point of the ball game, but we're only in the third. Huskies are able to adjust. They've done it year in and year out against some of the best. The pitch. Swinging a miss. It's going to be rung up. She didn't. It looks like she just barely went around on that last pitch, one way or the other. Wagner goes down swinging for out number 3. So another 1-2-3 inning for the Huskies here in the third. We'll go to the bottom of the inning with the score. Missouri 1, the Huskies nothing.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at NorthLakeTavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
Are you thinking that old mower of yours just won't cut it this year? Then call the pros at Aurora Lawnmower. They specialize in small gas engine repair, including tune-ups and blade sharpening. Your mower will look and act like new for a fraction of the cost. They also sell state-of-the-art equipment and new brands like Toro, Snapper, Honda, and Steel. For 40 years of unbeatable value, call 206-783-0200 or drop by. They're just 1.5 blocks north of Green Lake. Aurora Lawnmower, on the cutting edge of technology.
The Missouri Tigers over Washington. Mike Brown here along with John Colley on 1150 AM KKNW. Coming to you live from Columbia, Missouri, specifically University Field on the campus of the University of Missouri that has produced more than their share of alumni, I think, John. You know, one of the fun things we like to do in the postseason is talk about some of the more well-known people that have come out of the schools that the Huskies are playing in. Missouri has distinguished themselves pretty well, haven't they, John?
Well, they certainly have, and in all types of fields. When you look just at the actors, Brad Pitt,
whoa,
he's one credit shy. Brad, get down here, get the credit, get your degree. You've got kids. You got to talk to them about the importance of education. Kate Capshaw, Mrs. Steven Spielberg, Tom Berenger, and George C. Scott.
Wow.
So there's some acting chops. Chris Cooper, another one of my favorites.
I
Great
like
character actor.
I like him a lot.
We also look at Mort Walker. You know who Mort Walker is?
I remember the name, but I can't remember who he is.
He's the cartoonist, draws Beetle Bailey.
Yeah, there you go.
And we've got Sheryl Crow. She's actually going to be in town doing a concert with Kid Rock here in July. Tennessee Williams, the playwright. We'll talk about some of the sporting alumni maybe a little bit later.
That's a pretty good start, though. The reason we had to give you all of them right now is because Jenna Marston is coming to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the third, facing Caitlin Inglesby, who has allowed 3 hits, and the 1 run is unearned. First pitch on the way to the left-handed hitting Marston. He's down low for ball 1, 1-0. Game 1 of this Super Regional Series now in the bottom of the third. Game 2 scheduled for tomorrow at 4 o'clock Seattle time. Next pitch on the way from Inglesby now. That one just missing down low to make it 2-0. If a game 3 is necessary, it will be played a half hour or so after game 2 tomorrow. It'll all depend on how quick the first game goes, but basically scheduled for a half hour start after the completion of game 2. The pitch. And there's one in for a called strike to make it 2-1 on Jenna Marston.
It'll be no sooner than 6:30 Seattle time. Could be later than that if the game goes longer, but will not start any sooner than 6:30 Seattle time tomorrow.
No matter how quick that game 2 is, game 3 would not start before 6:30, as John said. Quick meeting between Shauna Wright and Caitlin Inglesby. And now they're ready to get back to work on the shortstop, Marston, with the count 2-1.
A good pitch by Kate, but it seemed it had fooled Shauna. Wasn't what she was expecting.
Next pitch swung on, popped up, left field, back on it, Sally. She's screaming for it, and she's going to make the catch for out number 1. And that's a good way to start the inning for Caitlin Inglesby, who now faces Nicole Hudson, who doubled her first time up.
Well, Caitlin's done a really nice job, Mike, I think, of making the adjustments. And we've seen it all season long where if runners get on base, it doesn't really fluster her. She's able to stay within herself, keep competing pitch by pitch, and find her way out of jams. Only giving up the one unearned run so far today.
First pitch on the way to Hudson now. Up high. I think what Caitlin has settled into, among other things, is all I have to worry about is making the pitch. I'll let the catcher, I'll let the coaches do the calling and tell me what to do, where to throw it. I'll just do the throwing.
And she's gotten very, very comfortable in that as the season's gone along.
Next delivery now, and that is a called strike. Make it 1-1 on the hitter, Nicole Hudson.
Coaches talked about how later in the season she got much better at hitting her spots. And that's the sign of a pitcher who's getting comfortable, knows her mechanics just a little bit more.
Here comes the freshman now to the plate. The pitch, a change, and that misses down low. 2-1 on Hudson, who's batting .337 with 12 homers and 49 RBIs coming into the ballgame. Made the Tiger faithful that have jammed this stadium pretty happy back in the first when the Tigers scored the only run of the ballgame. They lead it 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. The pitch, and that one's high and inside.
Another one of the Tigers who was named first team Big 12, but also made the Midwest Regional team. Midwest Regional team also with Rhea Taylor, Ashley Fleming, and, of course, Chelsea Thomas.
Count is 3-1. Just the second time Inglesby's gone to 3 balls on a hitter. The pitch. And that's in for a called strike, so we've gone full now on Nicole Hudson. Tigers coached by Aaron Earlywine. His first name is spelled E-H-R-I-N. Aaron.
He's got one of the biggest staffs in softball.
The pitch swung on, grounded foul up the first base line. Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of people.
Support staff, and there's a volunteer assistant coach who Seattle fans will be familiar with.
That would be former Mariner Phil Bradley. He played here at the University of Missouri. He's quarterback on the football team as well as playing baseball, and made his mark professionally on the baseball side. Played for, I think, 6 years for the Mariners. Very good player. The pitch swung on. High fly ball center field. Back on it. Pullman looking up. And it is going to be off the scoreboard for a solo home run. It came on a full count pitch with 1 out here in the third. And Nicole Hudson goes deep off of Caitlin Inglesby. That's her second hit of the ball game. She doubled the first time up. And she makes it a 2-0 score in favor of the Tigers.
And that was a no-doubter. Once she made contact with that, it's a pitch. Again, Caitlin got up in the zone. 3-2. Hudson knew she was going to come in. She was ready for it and just timed it beautifully. The pitch was up about belt high. Hudson hit it square on the barrel, sent it off the scoreboard into center field. Throughout Super Regional play, Mike, we've been watching a lot of softball, and when pitchers are getting behind at 3-2 and forced to come into the zone, hitters throughout the Super Regionals are taking advantage of it.
Well, Nicole Hudson certainly did right there. 2-0 Tigers. And now the cleanup hitter, Ashley Fleming, taking a pitch inside. 1-0. As she hit it high off the scoreboard. And they have a very big scoreboard here for a softball stadium at University Field, right to dead center. Next pitch from Caitlin now. Swung on, line foul up the third base line. It's 1-1 on Ashley Fleming.
We talked about it's 190 down the lines, but it's still 220 to dead center, and she went to the deepest part of the ballpark, and she had lots and lots of room.
If there was no scoreboard there, and you measured where it would have hit the ground normally, could have been an easy 250. Next pitch now, and that change is in for a called strike to make it 1-2.
That's what Caitlin's got to do if she's going to keep this tough-hitting Missouri team off balance. It's not just moving it side to side. She's got to be able to change speeds.
The count is 1-2 on Ashley Fleming. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, ground ball hit right at Williams at first. She'll glove it and step on the bag for an easy out number 2. 3 unassisted, and it brings up Catherine Lee, the number 5 hitter. As far as Inglesby goes in this game, John, really that home run might be the only mistake she made. Remember, in the first, run she allowed was unearned. So probably shouldn't even have been in that situation.
She has given up 4 hits, and they've all been legit hits, but it should only be the one run. You're right.
Instead, 2-0 Missouri, as the first pitch on the way to Lee is high and outside. 1-0. Lee struck out swinging to end the first, so she's 0 for 1. Kind of a breeze blowing out the straightaway center field. Can't be more than 10 miles an hour. Comfortable conditions here at University Field. The pitch swung on a miss, so 1-1. Temperature in the lower 60s probably, and no rain. That's the most important thing. And we should be able to get this ball game in tonight.
Humidity sitting right around 86%. We had a little bit more of a wind earlier, but it's calmed down to, like you said, just a breeze.
Next delivery now is going to miss outside. 2-1 on Catherine Lee.
Got a great vantage point here at Missouri. Their press box is an oversized trailer. They popped a hole in the roof and made a whole second level, and that's where we are, on top of a trailer overlooking the field. I kind of like it.
We got a very good view. We're to the left of home plate, though. The pitch swung on, infield pop-up. Shauna Wright has a shot at it, circling around, and it's going to drop behind her. I think she thought maybe somebody else was calling for the ball. One way or the other, she should have had that.
That's one of those plays you got to make for your pitcher to help them out. Now, it looks like she kind of lost it up there in the sky. Might have heard somebody else calling for it, because at the end she just moves away from it like she heard somebody calling. But you could tell she never really saw the ball. She came back towards the fence, and it was behind her. She was never able to get back to it.
Well, that was out number 3 right there, so Lee gets another chance. Hopefully she won't take advantage of it. Let's see what happens. The count is 2-2. And the pitch on the way, outside. So we've gone full on the hitter.
Again, the dangerous count, because now the hitter can be ready. They know you've got to come into something. They're looking for something in the strike zone. If you miss, they're walking down. But anything near the zone, they're going to take a hack at.
Inglesby definitely wants to find the strike zone. You don't want to put that runner on. The pitch on the way. It's swung on a miss, and she got out of it. And the Huskies give up the 1 run. It's the home run, Nicole Hudson, her 13th of the season, and we'll go to the 4th with the score: Missouri 2, Washington 0.
Baseball isn't a contact sport, and driving your car shouldn't be either. Unfortunately, accidents happen. And when they do, there's a company you can count on to put the pieces back together again.
Holman's Body and Fender Shop.
We're a family-owned and operated Seattle business serving you since 1968. With over 40 years of experience, we can get you rolling again fast. Specializing in collision repair, restoration, and diagnostics. Visit us at 7301 Roosevelt Way Northeast or find us online at holmansbodyandfendershop.com.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9, Digital HD3 Seattle.
My wife and I just moved into our dream house. It was easy. We went with Powell Custom Homes and Renovations. Turns out, they built the house that I grew up in. In fact, they've been building and renovating top-quality custom homes throughout the Puget Sound since 1909. Powell has 4 generations of experience ready to go to work for you. From complete custom builds to high-end renovations. For details, visit them online at powellrenovations.com. That's powellrenovations.com.
Well, Well, before we tell you what happens in the top of the fourth inning, what do you say we get an update on the NCAA tournament scoreboard? And for that, here's John Cowley.
Mike, we're starting here in our first game of a super regional, and we already have 5 teams qualified for the College World Series. The number 1 overall seed, Arizona State, did it in a sweep fashion. They beat Texas A&M 3-2 and 4-2 in Tempe. A little controversy ending the first game, where a play where Caitlin Boyd ran in front of the shortstop, did not make contact with the shortstop or the ball. She scored the winning run. Texas A&M was thinking there should have been interference, but wasn't called, and it was a right call because there was no contact made. Opposite them is going to be Oklahoma, and I know the folks in Oklahoma City are excited because Oklahoma's coming to town, and they took care of the Arizona Wildcats in sweep fashion, 2-0. This is going to be the second time that neither UCLA or Arizona will not be in a College World Series. Wow. Oklahoma State, a little bit of a surprise, an unseeded team. They're playing another unseeded team in Houston, and those two teams had a battle in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State came out on top, winning that 2-1. 6-5 was the score of the if game, and so Oklahoma and Oklahoma State going to be Oklahoma City for the College World Series.
They're going to set more attendance records.
A couple more SEC teams are in. Florida beat Oregon, swept them 2-0. Scores of 9-1 and 7-0. And Alabama fought. Stanford won the first game 5-2. Alabama came back, won the second game 10-0. They won that last game 1-0, Mike, and it was Trainer, the pitcher, who came in, pitched 3 1/3 innings, no-hit softball, but also scored the winning run from first base with 2 outs, giving Alabama a 1-0 win and their 3-2 game win into the College World Series. So those are the 5: Alabama, Arizona State, Florida, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma.
Huskies need to get busy here offensively, and this might be about the best time to do it as they got the top of the lineup scheduled up against Chelsea Thomas to begin the top of the fourth inning. Kimmy Pullman taking a pitch right down the heart of the plate for a called strike, 0-1. Pullman struck out swinging her first time up. Next pitch to her, and that one is going to be a little low, maybe a little outside, even the count at 1-1. Sure would be nice to get some speed on the base paths with Kimmy Pullman right here.
Well, the Huskies, it's not just 1 run they've got to make up now, it's 2, so this is a good place to get started.
The pitch. Swing, there's a ground ball up the middle. That's going to get through for a leadoff single for Kimmy Pullman. Exactly what the Huskies needed. They get their first base runner and first base hit off of Chelsea Thomas as Pullman singles leading off the fourth.
Great piece of hitting. She choked up on the bat. She ran up on it and just shortened the swing, got on top of that rise ball, put it right back up the middle. The defense was playing in for the lefty slapper. Nice job by Kimmy Pullman finding her way on base.
So Jen Salling to step in. Infield playing in at the corners. The first pitch is up a little bit high. Good eye by Salling. I'm not expecting Pullman to be sent here with nobody out in the fourth. Not so much because Megan Christopher behind the plate is such a good catcher and is so successful at throwing out runners. I just think Heather Tarr is going to take a different approach. The pitch. Check swing as that one is up high. 2-0 to Salling.
I think you're right. I think the game itself doesn't dictate it. That you want to try and the Huskies had said they were going to play Husky softball, get them on, move them over, move them in, and Heather Tarr not wanting to erase any runners on the base paths.
Also,
to do that.
Salling swung the bat pretty well last week in the regional. The pitch to her is a called strike, 2-1. Salling batted .375. She doubled and scored 5 runs. So obviously she knows how to get on base. We know that. She likes to walk. But she also has been swinging the bat a little bit more lately. Count 2-1 on Salling. Lee playing in at first base. Pullman on at first. Here's a pitch. It's a bunt attempt. It's got a squib foul. It landed in fair territory by a couple of feet, but then took a left turn out into foul territory to the left of the third base line.
Without that spin, Jen Salling is on first and Kimmy's at second because nobody was going to be able to throw her out. She was beating it down the base path, but like you said, it landed a good 2 feet in fair territory, but the spin, as soon as it landed, looked like a golf shot, just squirted straight back.
So Thomas coming back a little bit after falling behind 2-0, has evened the count at 2-2 on Jen Salling. Next delivery on the way now. It's swung on and missed. Good cut by Jen Salling. A foul tip into the glove of Christopher, who hangs on for out number 1. Hey, fans, over 20 years ago, Mortgage Mart was founded on this concept. Do your best for your customers, treat them like friends, and feel good about what you're doing. A lot of things have changed over 20 years, but the concept at Mortgage Mart has stayed the same. Competitive pricing, low overhead, no extra fees, and a staff willing to go the distance. It's all part of the Mortgage Mart guarantee. So put Mortgage Mart to work for you. Mortgage Mart, proud sponsor of Husky softball. First pitch, a called strike on Nicky Williams, 0-1. Huskies trying to get something going here with a runner at first, 1 out. Some of their better hitters up right now. The pitch, swinging a ground ball hard but foul up the first base line. Nicky Williams has made some pretty decent contact against Chelsea Thomas, just can't straighten it out.
First time up, she took a changeup and just hit it square but foul. That time she took one of the harder pitches from Chelsea Thomas and was a little bit late on it. Put it right down that first base line, foul by a foot.
So the count 0-2 on Nicky Williams. Got to be careful right here. Behind in the count against Chelsea Thomas. She's into her line. Here's the pitch. It swung on and chopped foul up third baseline. Got around on the change.
Did a nice job of getting the bat up to the ball. That was from the higher part of the zone. Nicky got her hands up and over on top of it, able to foul it off. Lit for another pitch.
Missouri leads it 2-0. We're in the top of the fourth. Huskies with 1 out have a runner on at first and Kimmy Pullman. The 0-2 pitch to Williams. It's taken all the way, misses low and outside. It's 1-2.
Mike had to wait because that pitch was close.
I know. I was waiting for Sloan maybe to come out of his crouch and ring her up, but he didn't.
And Mitch missed outside and low. So nice.
It was close.
Nice eye by Nicky.
Gets another chance against Thomas here. Let's see what happens. Here comes the pitch, and it is up high, the rise. Williams wanted to pull the trigger, but held up wisely to even the count at 2-2.
The ball just jumped up over the catcher's head, and Christopher did a nice job of snagging it, not letting it get behind it.
Runner at first, 1 out. Next pitch on the way to Williams, and it's swung on, ground ball right side. Pullman stays out of the way of the bat. The ball gets fumbled momentarily by the second baseman, Bach, but she gathers it in and throws Williams out for out number 2. On the play, Pullman moves into second base, and Kimmy was real sure not to get hit by that ball, which happened against Oregon State in the final regular season series and caused some controversy.
And Nicky Williams almost beat that out with the bobble by Bach, but she did a nice job of barehanding it and making the throw. A good stretch over there by Lee at first base was able to ensure the out.
So it's up to Caitlin Inglesby to keep it going here. First pitch to Kate, a change, misses down low. In fact, it bounces in for ball 1. So Pullman on at second base after the ground out by Williams. Huskies trailing it 2-0. But they got their first runner in scoring position.
And you've got the right hitter up, your hottest hitter coming out of the regional, Caitlin Inglesby.
And the pitch. There's another change that drops in nicely for a called strike. It's 1-1. Wind picking up a little bit here, still blowing out the straightaway center field. Comfortable conditions, though, for everybody in attendance here. A couple people maybe wearing some jackets, but they're of the light variety, I suppose. Time being called by head coach Heather Tarr, who wants to talk something over with the plate umpire, Sloan. Now she's calling Kimmy Pullman off of second base. I think Heather just wanted to get permission to talk to her and the hitter, Caitlin Inglesby.
And Heather might be noticing something that is going to allow Kimmy Pullman to communicate with Caitlin Inglesby.
Yeah.
This is something Heather Tarr is very, very good at. She picks up tendencies of pitchers on the other side of the team, in the other circle, and then she's trying to communicate that with both her base runner and her hitter. Just shows you the depth of this Husky coaching staff and how the attention to detail and how deep they think the game of softball.
So we're ready to get back to action with the Huskies trailing 2-0. They do have a runner on base in Kimmy Pullman. She's at second. There are 2 outs here in the top of the fourth inning. Caitlin Inglesby at the plate. The count 1-1, and the next delivery, a change, is going to miss and make it 2-1 on Caitlin Inglesby.
Kimmy was definitely trying to get a peek inside Chelsea Thomas's glove as she turns towards her. Not able to see it, not communicating anything.
The pitch. High and outside makes it 3-1 on Inglesby.
I would not be surprised if Missouri and Chelsea Thomas is being careful with Inglesby. You've got first base open, you've got 2 outs. You might want to just pitch around her and get Morgan Stewart up to bat.
Let's see what happens here. Next delivery on the way from Thomas now, and that's up high, and I think that's exactly what they were doing, kind of an unintentional, intentional walk to put Inglesby on at first with 2 out here and Morgan Stewart coming up to the plate.
Now, they saw the numbers from last weekend, too, Mike. They didn't want any part of Caitlin Inglesby with the runner in scoring position. Now it's up to the senior. Morgan Stewart has to come through for her team.
Struck out swinging her first time up. And the first pitch to her swung on and fouled away. Good cut by Morgan Stewart, who has made some adjustments at the plate over the last 2-3 weeks and has had some positive results. She tripled last weekend.
Well, I think this is going to be an important game for her because with that shorter stride, you've got a better chance of hitting somebody like Chelsea Thomas, who comes in with such speed.
Runners at first and second, 2 out. And the pitch on the way to Stewart. Swinging a foul ball. Quickly 0-2 on Morgan Stewart, batting .270 coming into the ballgame.
Well, the advantage definitely goes to the pitcher. Chelsea Thomas can go to her wide variety. She can try and throw a rise, get her swing under it, throw that devastating changes. Been sitting on the outside part of the plate. Morgan's got to be ready.
And the pitch up high makes it 1-2.
Mike, I knew that was a rise ball before it came. The catcher was standing up before that pitch was even delivered. Not something you're going to pick up as a hitter. But
next delivery now. Swing and a fly ball foul down the right field line. It's going to land in the dugout, or check that, the bullpen. And the count will be 1-2 still on Morgan Stewart.
Nice job by Mort going the other way. And if that ball stayed fair, probably would have fallen in front of the left fielder, Ashley Fleming, out there. Right fielder, excuse me. Husky dugout, lots of energy.
Hoping for Morgan Stewart to come through right here. Next pitch on the way. It's a change, swung on. She just got a piece of it to stay alive. Woo.
Nice job. She was on her front foot, but was able to keep the hands back, see the ball enough. It was going to be a called strike 3, so she didn't let it float by, fouled it off.
So the count 1-2 with 2 out on Morgan Stewart. Washington with runners at first and second here in the top of the 4th, trailing 2-0. The pitch, swing and a foul back again. So a good battle up there between Morgan Stewart and Chelsea Thomas.
Huskies' first opportunity to break through against Chelsea Thomas, and you like the approach of Morgan Stewart. She's been aggressive, but she's also being smart at the same time, making sure she's not just whiffing away at anything.
Huskies hoping to bust through. They got base runners for the first time in the ball game. Here comes the pitch. It's a change. Swung on. Ground ball hit right at third. Up with over there Hudson. She'll just step on the bag to force Pullman for out number 3. So the Huskies turned away again here in the top of the 4th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We're halfway through this scheduled 7-inning affair, in the score, Missouri 2, Washington nothing.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. This old saying is especially true when it comes to auto and truck parts. At Budget Truck Wrecking, they feature quality auto and truck parts at great prices. They also pay cash for your junk cars. Whether you need an engine, transmission, tire, battery, brake drum, or rotors, you'll find it at Budget Truck Wrecking. Visit them in Auburn at 3602 A Street Southeast, or find them online at budgetautorwrecking.com.
Budget Truck Wrecking. We buy cars that you don't need and sell cars and parts that you do.
Since 1950, Sound Oil Company has built a reputation as a leader in the heating oil industry. Their prices and service combine to give you the best value when it comes to home heating oil. What you may not know is that Sound Oil is also a leader in air conditioning services. For complete sales, service, and installation of energy-efficient air conditioning units, you can trust Sound Oil. Find them online at soundoil.com. Sound Oil Company, keeping you comfortable year-round.
Well, the energy level remains very high here at University Field on the campus of the University of Missouri. I'm Mike Brown along with John Colley. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning, and the Tigers, the hometown team, continuing to lead it over Washington by the score of 2-0. Aaron Earlywine is the head coach for Missouri, but this is by no means the first time the Huskies have ever faced a team coached by him. In fact, it was not the Missouri Tigers that Earlywine was coaching the first time the Huskies crossed paths with a coach in Missouri. He was with Georgia Tech back in 2004 when Washington met up with the Ramblin' Wreck in a regional in Athens, Georgia. The Huskies and Georgia Tech were both in the winner's bracket, and they met in the third game for each team. And Washington came away with a 2-0 victory. It was a hard-fought win for sure, and a game that was interrupted twice by rain. First time for 35 minutes, the second time for 1 hour 34 minutes. But Washington did end up winning that game in Athens on the final score of 2-0. Rita Roach, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, singled the lead off the fifth inning. And Dominique Lestrapes, who was red hot in that regional and singled her first 10 times up over 3 games, singled as well. Amy Miner, the number 2 hitter, was walked, hit by a pitch, rather.
Something she did a lot of.
And with the bases loaded, Jennifer Salinger balked a run home. I put runners at second and third. Then Sarah Hyatt hit a sac fly to bring in the second run, where the Huskies held on and won it 2-0. Then went on to beat Georgia in the championship round and go on to the World Series. That was the year Scott Santala and Steve Daly were the co-interim head coaches. Wow.
Ashley Beck was the pitcher of record through the complete game shutout for the Huskies that day.
It's a little history lesson here, all connected to Aaron Earlywine, who's in the third base coach's box right now as Missouri bats here in the bottom of the fourth. Marla Schweisberger taking a pitch in for a called strike, and the next delivery is a check swing and a pitch that appears to be up high, and it was indeed. And Schweisberger does not go around as they appeal down to John Kernat at first base. 1-1.
Schweisberger and Simmons, middle part of this lineup, were able to get on base with back-to-back singles against Caitlin, but she was able to keep them from scoring in the second inning.
Next pitch on the way, and a change is a called strike. A beautiful delivery there from Caitlin Inglesby to get out in front 1-2 on the hitter. Schweisberger to be followed by Lisa Simmons and Megan Christopher here in the bottom of the fourth. Missouri leading it 2-0. They've had base runners every inning against Caitlin Inglesby, who delivers down low, and the count even at 2-2. Inglesby has allowed 4 hits, including the towering home run by Nicole Hudson in the third. First run of the ball game was unearned.
You see the Missouri Tigers back in the box against Caitlin, just like where the Huskies are against Chelsea Thomas.
Next pitch swung on. Fly ball hit in the left field. Victoria Hayward coming up and making the catch on a routine fly ball for out number 1. Hey, fans, now more than ever, staying in good financial shape is important. At Edward Jones, they have a lineup of financial solutions to help you throughout your life, from tax-advantaged investments to long-term insurance and life insurance. Husky alum and All-Century Baseball team member Dwayne Covey can help you out. Dwayne Covey and Edward Jones, member SIPC. First pitch to Simmons is going to miss, 1-0. One away here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Pretty good ball game between the Tigers and the Huskies. Washington having their first offensive threat turned away in the top half of this inning. Got their first runner in scoring position, as the pitch is a bunt attempt and fouled away, 1-1. Huskies not only had their first runner in scoring position, they got their first hit of the ball game, and that's the only one against Chelsea Thomas, as Kimmy Pullman led off with a single up the middle.
Shortened it up and put the ball right back up the middle. The infield was drawn in, moved over to second base, but unable to get her in.
Next pitch on the way to Simmons now. Here she comes. Swung on and missed. Foul tip into the glove of Shauna Wright, makes it 1-2.
Tell you, one team that won't feel sorry for the Huskies, Arizona Wildcats, they had a little trouble hitting with runners in scoring position in their 2 games. At one point, they were 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position in their 2 games against Oklahoma. They got runners on, but that was their MO all season long.
Yep. epidemic the entire year. The pitch up high and inside makes it 2-2 on Lisa Simmons.
Part of that, I think, is just Arizona not having the same strength at the bottom part of the lineup they're used to having. Great table setters, Lauren Schutzler and Brittany Lestraps.
The pitch swung on and fouled away. Keeps it right at 2-2.
Brittany Lestraps ended up having to come out of that game today because she broke a hand. She was hit by a pitch last night. Broke her hand. She tried to play, had an at-bat first game, but was unable to go. So that also hurt Arizona's chances. And Oklahoma just played really well, and Kalani Ricketts was on her game.
Tough way for Lestraps to end a career, boy, I'll tell you. Here comes the 2-2. And that one is just a little bit low. So we've gone full on another hitter, this time Lisa Simmons, the left fielder.
Sloan has had a pretty big strike zone all night, and he's been very consistent with it. Chelsea Thomas did not get that call last half inning, and Caitlin Inglesby does not get it right there.
So we are full on Lisa Simmons. Here comes the next delivery, swung on and grounded foul up the first base line. Well, she'll see another one from Caitlin Inglesby, who overall has done a pretty decent job for the Huskies. She's allowed base runners, but has gotten out of one jam for sure in the first. She allowed an infield ground ball out, a run that was unearned. And then they had runners at first and second with nobody out in the second inning and got out of that.
I would classify that as a jam. First and second, nobody out.
Yep, that's trouble.
2 jams she's gotten out of today.
The count is full on Lisa Simmons. And the pitch. Swing, infield pop-up. Nikki Williams got a call for it and make it right on the bag for out number 2. That was officially in foul territory. And with 2 out, nobody on, Megan Christopher will be the hitter.
Nikki started heading to the dugout. She's able to laugh about it right now. She thought that was out number 3. She was thinking more about not getting run over by the runner than how many outs at the time. But nice play by Nikki Williams, recording out number 2.
So here's Megan Christopher, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, looking to do something offensively. As the first pitch to her, a change, swung on and missed. Boy, she was fooled on that one.
She's got 208, the lowest batting average in the lineup for early wine.
Missouri faithful trying to rally behind Christopher. Here comes the pitch. Looked like another change in for a called strike. So 0-2 on the hitter, Megan Christopher.
I think Aaron Earlywine and Mike White, head coach at Oregon, played together international softball. So 2 softball guys doing well in the NCAA.
The pitch. Swing and a miss, and the first 1-2-3 inning for Caitlin Inglesby, and maybe she's really getting a groove. All she needs now is a little offensive help. We played 4 full innings here at University Field. We'll go to the 5th. The score, Missouri 2, the Huskies nothing.
Remember when the game was played by guys named Jolton Joe and the Babe? Those were the good old days of baseball and of customer service. Back then, you knew you'd get honest car repairs from your neighborhood mechanic. At George's Eastside Shell in Kirkland, you still can. They have 30 years of experience in all phases of automotive repairs and tires, too. Visit George's Eastside Shell at 13272 100th Avenue Northeast in Kirkland. Good old-fashioned auto repair from your neighborhood mechanic. That's George's Eastside Shell.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Here we go, the top of the 5th inning, and still a 2-0 lead for the Missouri Tigers. It's Mike Brown here, along with John Colley. We are in Columbia, Missouri, right near the smack dab center of this state of Missouri, the Show Me State. We've seen the word Missouri we've seen used in various forms. There's Missouri. It's pronounced Missouri. That's how the natives say it. I think that's the correct pronunciation.
Well, no, that's the correct pronunciation if you're from here.
Okay.
Missouri.
Missouri.
That's how we say it here, Missouri.
They also go by Mizzou. Now we also see the Zoo. Z-O-U is how they'll refer to the campus here as well, or at least the football stadium. Says, a big sign right out front, Mizzou. Welcome.
It's the largest city in the central Missouri. And we were talking maybe top 5 in the state. Mm-hmm. There's 3 colleges. There's University of Missouri, Columbia College, and Stevens College, all here in town, all really within a stone's throw of each other. And found out that Missouri was the first public institute of higher education west of the Mississippi. So there's a little education about Missouri, Columbia, and the university.
Not too far from the state capital of Jefferson City, a little bit south. And right in the middle of the state between Kansas City and St. Louis. And not easy to get to from Seattle, as we found out.
No, indeed.
We are here, and we're glad to be as well. We just wish we had a little bit more offense from the Huskies to tell you about, as they've been shut down quite regularly by Chelsea Thomas. She's faced 2 over the minimum as Washington comes to bat here in the top half of the 5th inning. But one thing that's slowed down a little bit are the amount of strikeouts that Thomas has recorded against Washington. They're starting to get the bat on the ball a little bit more. She does have 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. 5 came in the first 2 innings, though. Only one batter, Caitlin Inglesby, put the ball in play in the first 2 innings.
Last inning, Jen Salling strikeout. She just missed that pitch, Mike. Ball that was moving up, she swung under it.
Shauna Wright, the lead off here in the 5th, and takes a pitch for a called strike. Shauna, a strikeout victim looking to end the 2nd inning. Shauna had a couple of knocks in the regional last weekend. It was 2 for 10 overall. Love to get something going here to lead off the 5th. The pitch up high, 1-1.
Her at-bats were just getting better and better through the end of the year, and I think this is a player the Huskies were counting on a little bit more offensively at the beginning, but they certainly love her defense and being solid behind the plate.
Swinging a foul tip into the glove of Christopher makes it 1-2 on Shauna Wright.
That was a good, healthy swing by Shauna Wright, the kind of swing you like to see her take.
Huskies have won 5 of their last 6 ball games. Get things into gear last weekend in the regional in Seattle, winning 1-2-3. The pitch swung on a miss. And dropped 3rd strike, so Christopher's going to have to throw it on the first to record the out. Officially, it will be another strikeout, though, for Chelsea Thomas. Number 9 in the ball game, and to the plate comes Victoria Hayward.
That was a drop ball that started at the knees, ended at the ankles. And Shauna just swinging right over it.
First pitch to Hayward now. Taken all the way, and a delivery that is just a little bit outside. Hayward grounded out to short her first time up. So she's 0 for 1.
Was able to slap it to the left side, just not get enough on top of it to get the high bounce she needed.
Pitch on the way. Fun attempt, and took a stab at it and couldn't make contact. So it's going to be 1-1.
She said again that victory against BYU last weekend. Hayward looked good up the plate.
Next delivery, slapped out a one-hopper right back to Thomas, who gloves it and underhands it to first baseman Lee for out number 2. 2 out, nobody on for number 8 hitter Jenna Clifton.
That ball hit her glove and was spinning up her arm. And Chelsea Thomas showed she's an athlete. She was running towards first base, was able to grab it off her arm and make the underhand toss.
So, tough situation for Washington once again here in the 5th. 2 out and nobody on. The first pitch on the way to Clifton, swung on and fouled away. So the Huskies taking their hacks up there against Chelsea Thomas, no doubt.
Well, and we're looking at Jenna Clifton, Maggie Wagner coming up, then back to the top of the order that's seen Thomas twice now. The 3rd time around, just able to make that much more of an adjustment.
Next pitch on the way to Clifton. And lays off the rise ball to make it 1-1.
Jenna smartly looking at maybe trying to drag bunt. Because, again, for the right-handed hitters, the defense plays so deep. She's got first baseman Kathy Lee is up.
Pitch swung on a miss. So 1-2 now, and Chelsea Thomas 1 strike from getting out of this 5th inning. Looking for another 1-2-3 inning. It would be her 4th of the ball game. She retired the side in order in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd before giving up a leadoff single to Pullman in the 4th. Next pitch to Clifton, swung on and fouled out of play. She made some pretty good contact right now, but got way around on the changeup. So the count's still 1-2.
Been fooled by the rise ball a couple of times, his Jenna. That was the changeup, and swung hard right through it.
Clifton, a right-handed hitter, awaiting the next delivery from Chelsea Thomas. Here she comes. It's in for a called strike 3 to end the top of the 5th inning. 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the inning. The score, Missouri 2, Washington nothing.
Remember the 50s? The Northwest was booming, Elvis was king of rock and roll, and locals gathered at Burgermaster for good food and good times. You can relive that golden era at Burgermaster. We're still your favorite old-fashioned drive-in, offering all your favorites: shakes, malts, fries, and the messiest burgers in town. Made with locally grown pasture-fed beef. Masters of the burger since 1952. Visit one of our 5 locations today: University, Aurora, Everett, Bothell, and off 520 in Bellevue.
Don't say hamburger, say Burgermaster. We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
We're moving on to the bottom of the 5th inning, a 2-0 lead for the Missouri Tigers over Washington as Mizzou comes up the bat here in the bottom of the 5th. Now the number 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up against Caitlin Inglesby, who's done a pretty decent job. It's just that she's been outdueled to this point by Chelsea Thomas. We are in Game 1 of the Super Regional round of the NCAA tournament. The Super Regional round was added in 2005, which just coincided with Heather Tarr's arrival to the program as the head coach. Of the 7 years the Super Regional has existed, the Huskies have made it to this round 6 times, which is a pretty good average for sure. Their overall record in Super Regional play is 7-5 coming into this ball game, and they've won 3 of their previous 5 series. They've only been swept 1 time. That was against Kat Osterman and Texas in Austin, Texas, as Danielle Laurie and Osterman got into a pretty good pitching duel in that first game. It turned out to be a 1-0 win for Texas. And then they exploded in Game 2 and went on to win that series. But the Huskies have swept their own Super Regional. The most notable one for me, anyway, was against Alabama in 2007 at Husky Softball Stadium. Some of the biggest crowds we've ever seen in that facility for sure.
That was a great Super Regional, and Lauren Greer, just a big difference maker in that Super Regional, driving in runs and lifting the Huskies to the College World Series. World Series where they finished 3rd. Danielle Laurie had a no-hitter against DePaul to start that College World Series, and they won their 2nd game against Northwestern. Then they ran into Arizona on Sunday and lost a nail-biter in Game 1, and then Arizona came and just again poured on the coals in Game 2.
Here's Abby Vach, the lead off for Missouri in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to her is low and inside. The year the Huskies won the national title, they swept Georgia Tech in Atlanta. That's a series that's not all that memorable simply because the Huskies just steamrolled them. It wasn't even fair.
And it followed such a memorable series in UMass.
Next delivery, swung on, line drive over that head, off the glove, I should say, of Jen Salling at short and out into left field. So a leadoff single for Abby Vach, and it had to be just in the right place for Salling to not get to that ball.
Well, it looked at first like it was a no-doubter single, and then Jen made such a great attempt. She jumped right at the right time and was able to get her glove onto it, but not able to make the catch. Beautiful timing by Jen Salling. She's just not tall enough to bring that one in.
So a meeting of the minds at the top of the circle among Husky infielders. As we go to the top of the lineup for Rhea Taylor now, this is one weapon of Missouri that has not affected the Huskies so far in this ball game. Taylor has grounded out the shortstop on both occasions. On the first one, it took a very good defensive play by Jen Salling to throw her out. But the second time, it was more of a routine two-hopper to Salling at short, and she was gunned down by a good 12 feet. So Taylor up there now with nobody out and a runner on at first base. Huskies going over things defensively with Taylor at the plate, a tough hitter. Left-handed slap hitter. She's the leadoff hitter in the lineup. Tries to bunt, takes a stab, can't make contact, and the count 0-1.
She's also the career hits leader for Missouri. She has 313 career hits. She's also number one in run scores with 232 and batting average at 409 for her career. So some gaudy numbers for Rhea Taylor.
Next pitch from Inglesby now. That's going to be outside, and the count 1-1. I think there was a called pitch outside. Runner on at first, Vach has good speed. She's stolen 7 bases in 10 attempts. And Missouri, known for stealing bases. They have not attempted any so far in this ballgame. Haven't needed to this point. They lead 2-0. The pitch. And that one outside. Now time being called, and I think they're going to call the runner out at first base. Vach left the base early, and that's the kind of break the Huskies need right there. Score at 3 unassisted for out number 1. Vach leaving the base early, 1 away, and now nobody on with Taylor at the plate.
Aaron Earlywine not happy with that call because the fact is she wasn't attempting to steal, but we were able to see the replay, and it was an easy call for the umpire. She definitely left early in Caitlin Inglesby's windup.
Infield playing in all the way around now with Taylor at the plate, nobody on. The pitch, that one bounces away from Shauna Wright, and the count's going to be 3-1. Check that, 2-1 now on Rhea Taylor.
Since she left early, they called it no pitch. It's a dead ball. So with it being no pitch, the count went back to 1-1. So now with that ball, it's 2-1. So helped out in 2 ways. Cleared the base runner and kept the count even.
So here we go. The 2-1 pitch now, and that one is down low, and the count is now 3-1 on Rhea Taylor.
And Caitlin working on the outside part of the play, trying to get Taylor to send it to Morgan Stewart or Jen Salling once again. She has such incredible speed.
Now ready to do it once again. Got to come in with this one here, otherwise you put her on and she's going to bounce it in, and Taylor's going to be on base with the 1-out walk here in the 5th, and we're going to keep an eye on her to see if she's going to be attempting to steal. She has 41 stolen bases on the season in 43 attempts, does Rhea Taylor, as Jenna Marston will come to the plate. So do you steal with 1 out and a 2-run lead?
Well, you're never satisfied with having enough runs, especially with a team like the Huskies.
There she goes on the first pitch. Throw down to second base is going to be late, and Taylor's in there easily with stolen base number 42 this year.
Caitlin Inglesby threw something hard. Shauna Wright made a great throw, and they weren't even close.
Easily stolen base for Rhea Taylor, who's now in scoring position with 1 out. And the number 2 hitter in the lineup, Jenna Marston, up there. Marston, a left-handed hitter. Here comes the pitch. It is down a little bit low to make it 2-0.
Would have liked to see Jen Salling keep that tag on Taylor, because after Taylor got to the bag, her foot actually came up off the bag, and had Jen maintained contact with her, she'd have been out. Don't know if you're going to get that call very often, but you might as well give it a shot, because now she's in scoring position, and all it needs is the ball to get into the outfield, and she'll be scoring easily.
Infield playing in at the corners. They're inside of the respective bags. Here comes the pitch. It's a check swing, and it's down a little bit low. She did not go around. And the count has now moved to 3-0 on Jenna Marston. So a little bit of trouble developing here for the Huskies. There's 1 out and a runner out at second base. They trail it 2-0.
Haven't seen Aaron Earlywine give the green light in this situation. the regional play.
Called strike on the next delivery as he did not give the green light apparently there to Jenna Marston. Missouri with a run in the first and another in the third to lead it 2-0. And now time being called by Washington as assistant coach Cindy Bear Ball will come out and talk with Caitlin Inglesby.
Well, Mike, we are officially the last game being played on what was a very busy day in softball. A couple of games we haven't talked about today. Cal has gone up 1-0 in their super regional. Now that's being hosted by Kentucky because Cal's facility not up to the standards needed for hosting a super regional. And great pitching performance by Jolene Henderson. She threw a complete game, one hitter, shutting out Kentucky, and it was Freni Echevarria hitting a home run to give the Bears the only offense they needed, a 1-0 win over Kentucky and taking a 1-zip lead in their super regional.
Ready to get back to action here. The pitch on the way to Marston is inside, and she's going to throw the bat away and head on down to first base after back-to-back walks are issued by Caitlin Inglesby. What else is going on, John?
There's one last game that just finished up, and that was down in Athens, Georgia, where the Baylor Bears took game one of their best 2 out of 3 matchup with the Bulldogs. It was 5-1, Baylor beating Georgia on their home field. Whitney Cannon not only threw the complete game, only gave up the 1 run, she also hit a home run. Georgia down 1-0 in their super regional.
Here's Nicole Hudson, first pitch. And that one down a little bit low. Caitlin Inglesby has got to start throwing some strikes. She's getting in a little bit of trouble here with runners at first and second, just the 1 out in the 5th. The Huskies cannot afford to give up any more runs. They're struggling enough at the plate against Chelsea Thomas. Just the 1 hit against Thomas. Here comes the pitch. And this one is down a little bit low as well. She's getting it over the plate, but not quite high enough.
And I got to be careful with Hudson because Hudson's last at bat, she got behind in the count and had to come into the big part of the plate, and Hudson sent it to the big part of the ballpark and out, heading it off the scoreboard.
Hudson is homered and doubled off of Caitlin Inglesby up there with runners at first and second. The pitch, that's a called strike, and the count 2-1.
Ray Taylor way off at second base and almost daring Shauna Wright to make the throw. If she does make the throw, Taylor's going to take off for third base, so Shauna making the smart move, not making the throw, not taking the bait.
Next delivery on the way now, a change that is in for a call strike. Good call right there to even the count at 2-2. Inglesby and the Huskies need an out badly right here. And it's going to be tough against this hitter, Nicole Hudson, who so far has owned Caitlin Inglesby.
She's been very, very fine at this plate appearance, and that one, the changeup just at the knees when it got to the plate.
Now the 2-2. There's another change, and it's just going to miss outside. And we've gone full on Nicole Hudson. Not necessarily a good situation for Caitlin Inglesby.
Didn't work out last time, but Caitlin obviously learned from that. Come in with something a little bit different here against Hudson.
Count is full. Runners are on at first and second, just 1 out. And the pitch to Hudson swung on and popped into foul territory and out of play. Boy, that would have been a big one for the Huskies if it stayed in playable territory. But instead, we're going to do it again with the count full.
Morgan Stewart would have been able to get over to make the play. She had a bead on it. Just ran out of real estate.
So we'll do it again with runners at first and second. 1 away. And the count full on Nicole Hudson. Again, the full count pitch, and this time swung on and fouled right at the plate. And we'll do it again with the count full.
I think that one actually went down, got a piece of Hudson's foot. She's walking it off as umpire cleans the plate, give her a chance to catch her breath.
Capacity crowd here at University Field on the campus of the University of Missouri. Wind blowing out to right field now. Kicking up a little bit. Not too strong. And the pitch on the way. A change up high. The throw down to third, and they're not going to be any play because that is ball 4 that will load things up for the cleanup hitter, Ashley Fleming.
If that was a strikeout, they would have had the double play because they had Rhea Taylor thrown out, but the ball 4 gave everyone the advance.
So Caitlin Inglesby has not gotten anybody out in this inning. There is one out, but she gave up the leadoff single to Abby Bach, who was called out for leaving the bag early at first. And then Inglesby has issued back-to-back-to-back walks. That loads things up with just the one away for the cleanup hitter, Ashley Fleming, who I think Missouri fans are thinking is overdue. She's 0 for 2 tonight, but did drive in the first run on an infield groundout.
Huskies playing in, trying to cut that run off, keep this lead at 2.
First pitch swinging. Here's a ground ball right to Sally. She's going to instead throw it home, instead go over to first base and get the out. But Missouri will record another run as Rhea Taylor comes in and scored. And I think that's why she didn't come home, is she probably figured she wouldn't beat the speedy Taylor to the plate and went and got the sure out.
Well, I think, and the reason, Mike, is more that, and looking at it, she double clutched, and I thought she didn't have a grip on the ball, but she just saw how close Taylor was to the home plate. Figured she'd rather get the out than make the choice at home and end up with nobody out. So a nice choice by Jen Salling, again showing why she's Defensive Player of the Year, because on the replay it shows she would not have gotten Taylor.
So a run comes in on the infield ground ball by Ashley Fleming, her second RBI that way in the ball game. Makes it 3-0 in favor of Missouri. Runners are on at second and third as Marston and Hudson have moved up respectively. And the hitter will be Catherine Lee. First pitch was off the glove of Shauna Wright, and another run is going to come in and score. Standing up is Jenna Marston to make it 4-0 on what is probably, I'm guessing, going to be called a pass ball. I think Shauna Wright had a shot at that one, and we'll get an official ruling one way or the other. It's a mistake by the Huskies, and it costs them a run. It's now 4-0 Missouri. And we're getting too deep to be getting too deep in the ball game to be getting that far behind against Chelsea Thomas and Missouri.
And we said for the Huskies to win, they were going to have to be almost mistake-free, and so far they have not been this inning.
An error and what we think is a pass ball. Next pitch swung on and missed to make it 1-1 on Catherine Lee.
An error, a pass ball, and 3 walks don't help your cause.
There are 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Runner on at third for Missouri. And the pitch on the way. Swung on, fly ball hit deep but foul down the right field line.
And the official scorer saw that as a wild pitch. I tend to agree. Shauna Wright normally gets to that ball, but unable to. Going off her glove, allowing the run to score, but it is ruled a wild pitch against Caitlin Inglesby.
And that will be an earned run as well. So 4-0 Missouri. Tigers are the runner at third. 2 out, bottom of the 5th. They lead it 4-0. Inglesby trying to get out of this inning. She's got the count her way at 1-2, and the next pitch is outside. 2-2 on Catherine Lee, who's 0 for 2 in the ball game. She struck out swinging both times, and both times it ended the inning.
Actually, Mike, I think what we've got is a pinch hitter, because that doesn't look like Catherine Lee down there.
I think you're right, John.
It's Mackenzie Sykes.
All right, the next pitch to her is swung on and fouled back. So Sykes up there batting for Catherine Lee, probably because Lee has struggled against Caitlin Inglesby to this point. Jenna Clifton warming up in the Husky bullpen. Maybe called on to come on here and help out Inglesby. We'll see. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Caitlin struggling mightily here in this half inning. And the pitch, swing and a miss. And the Huskies finally get out of this disastrous 5th inning. Missouri scores 2 on a hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. We will go to the 6th inning. The score, Tigers 4, the Huskies nothing.
We'll be right back after this timeout.
We'll be back after this timeout.
Remember being left in the cold this last winter when power went out? Well, this season, get ahead of the game with a new Regency gas fireplace or Regency gas insert from Bellevue Fireplace Shop. Since 1959, the Bellevue Fireplace Shop has offered the best value on quality fireplaces like Regency fireplaces and gas inserts. Stop by our showroom at 105th Avenue Northeast, a block and a half southeast of the mall, or log on to BellevueFireplaceShop.com. Bellevue Fireplace Shop, 5 decades of serving happy Washington customers.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9 Digital HD3 Seattle.
Fire sprinkler systems are reliable, economical, and proven to be the best way to protect your family and home. Don't take a chance on losing your home, your possessions, and even your loved ones. Contact Nortec Fire Protection today. With years of experience, they're experts in design and installation of quality fire sprinkler systems. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial applications, they are your solution provider. Contact them at 888-995-9900 or visit them on the web at nortecfire.com.
Now things went the wrong direction for the Huskies in the bottom of the fifth. They allowed 2 more Missouri runs and now trail it 4-0. And Washington starting to run out of outs as they come to bat here in the top half of the 6th inning, trailing it 4-0. I'm Mike Brown along with John Colley. Wish we had some better news for you here, but that's the situation as Maggie Wagner will lead things off for the Huskies here in the top of the 6th inning. John, it's never over till it's over, but boy, I'll tell you, Huskies got a lot of work ahead of them if they're going to take this game 1.
And we've seen them put some crooked numbers up throughout the season, but it's hard to do it against somebody who throws like Chelsea Thomas. They've got the right part of the order coming up. Maggie Wagner is going to lead it off from the number 9 spot, but with her speed and back control, if she can find a way on and set the table for the start front of the lineup, this is when the Huskies have their opportunity. And it seems like they've gotten a little bit more comfortable with Chelsea Thomas as the game has gone along. I'm impressed with Caitlin Inglesby getting out of that last inning, only giving up 2 runs. Considering that she had 3 walks, there was the 1 hit. But some of the fastest Missouri Tigers on base were able to bring in those runs. But again, they stopped the bleeding, but it does nothing for you if you don't put runs across the plate.
So Maggie Wagner, the number 9 hitter in the Husky lineup, will lead it off here in the 6th. Slap hitter. Has the infield drawn in, slaps at the first pitch and lines it foul down the left field line. Wagner struck out swinging to end the 3rd, and at that point, Chelsea Thomas had retired the first 9 Husky hitters. Then she gave up a leadoff single to Kimmy Pullman in the 4th to bust up the no-hitter, but that remains the lone Husky hit in the ballgame. Next pitch to Wagner now, rolling outside. We're even at 1-1. Wagner batting .375 in the regional last weekend. Laid down a beautiful bunt single at one point to help the Husky cause against BYU.
Hitting .279 overall, and in the Pac-10 she hit .294, so she did a nice job once she switched to the left side.
The pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 1-2 on Maggie Wagner. That was a hard, good velocity pitch right there from Thomas. That was probably in the upper 60s for sure.
That's a pitch that if you just get the top of the ball, that's going to make a nice high bounce for you, allow you to get on, but hard part's making that connection.
Next pitch, swung on and missed. No, she just got a piece of that one right there. The part of the infield in front of home plate where slap hitters like to bounce that ball is softer than most infields. So that does not help the Husky slap hitting cause for sure.
Now you can see that the dirt's even a different color than it is the rest of the infield.
Next pitch to Wags. Swung on and missed. She was way out in front of a changeup that was dropped by the catcher, Christopher. She'll throw down the first to record the out. That is number 1. And we go to the top of the lineup for Kimmy Pullman. 11 strikeouts now for Chelsea Thomas in the ballgame. So, Pullman, who singled last time up, will come up there now with 1 out and nobody on. First pitch swinging, it's a drive over the center fielder's head. Taylor's going to go all the way to the wall, take it off the wall, and Pullman is standing on at second base with a 1-out double here in the 6th. Hope remains alive for Washington after the extra base hit by Kimmy Pullman, and she tattooed that ball straight back where it came from.
And Taylor playing like a slapper was halfway out there in center field. That ball just got over her head in a hurry. Kimmy, with her speed, was able to move into second base. No problem. That was the most solid contact we've seen against Chelsea Taylor all night long.
Well, Aaron Earlywine's going to have none of it as far as letting the Huskies back in this ball game. He's going to go out and have a conversation with his entire infield, including the catcher, Megan Christopher. We do have an attendance figure for you here tonight at University Field, a new stadium record crowd. 2,535 have turned out for tonight's ball game. And, John, I don't think that includes the ones out there on the golf course looking over the right field wall.
I think they're getting the freebie look. And there's a good, I'd say, 20 people out there on that golf course. It's right on the practice green. But they've got outfield seats full, the stands. There's the folks right behind home plate. It's packed.
Here's Jen Salling. First pitch on the way, and it's going to miss outside. 1-0 to Salling, who's up there with a runaround at second base in Kimmy Pullman, who just drove a line-drive bullet double over the head of the center fielder, Rhea Taylor. Next pitch to Salling now, up high. So make it 2-0. Salling in the ball game to this point is 0 for 2. She struck out both times.
Mike, we just got an adjustment. Maybe they counted him out there. It's actually 2,595.
Okay. The pitch. Taken all the way is Salling. Now one that was close, but not quite in the strike zone. So 2,595 here at University Field in Columbia, Missouri.
We're in a lot of gold.
Huskies trying to come back from a 4-0 deficit. There's another pitch up high to Salling, and she'll throw the bat away and head on down to first base. So Washington, with their biggest threat, has runners on at first and second and one out here in the sixth. And Nikki Williams due up.
Thing to remember about Chelsea Thomas, she is just a redshirt sophomore. Again, had to redshirt last year with the injury, so she's still young to the pitching world.
First pitch to Williams, tries to bunt her way on and fouls it off. So it'll kind of be 0-1. The Huskies did have a first and second situation in the fourth, but there were two out. Here, first and second with one out. And one of their better hitters, Nikki Williams, up. And they're going to have to pitch to her because Caitlin Inglesby, their best hitter recently, is on deck. So let's see what happens. Huskies hoping to come through against the very tough Chelsea Thomas. The pitch. Swinging a foul at the plate again. Boy, Williams has had some good cuts up there. And she's made contact, but not the type that's going to get you anything. She's fouled a lot off, including a couple of line drives and ground ball fouls. Now she's behind in the count 0-2.
Taking deep breaths, just relaxing, getting in there, timing the pitch.
Thomas to the plate. The pitch swung on and missed. Williams could not hold up on the rise ball, and she's out number 2 here in the sixth. And it's up to Caitlin Inglesby now with runners on at first and second, 2 out.
And you don't imagine that they're going to pitch around Caitlin now with runners on at first and second and already 2 outs.
12 strikeouts for Chelsea Thomas in the ball game. First pitch to Inglesby, swung on, ground ball hit right side, going to be gloved by the second baseman, Bach. She'll throw to first in time to get Inglesby for out number 3, and the Husky threat is snuffed out here in the sixth. We'll go to the bottom of the inning. The score, Missouri 4, the Huskies nothing.
Many of us are making the decision to stay in our current home, even though it's not quite our dream home. SBH Builders can help. We offer over 50 years of experience in remodeling, additions, and restorations. We provide our valued customers a quality product at a fair price. You can see our work online at sbhbuilders.com. That's sbhbuilders.com. Let us help turn your current home into your dream home. We are SBH Builders, and we're proud to support the Diamond Dogs.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, Dogs.
On to the bottom of the sixth inning we go. Washington with a threat in the top half, but could not push or run across. And now Missouri will come on, hoping to tack on one or two more to their 4-0 lead over Washington here again in the bottom of the sixth inning. I'm Mike Brown along with John Colley in Game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional Series. Game 2 scheduled for 4 o'clock Seattle time tomorrow afternoon. If the Huskies come back and win, well, this is assuming they don't come through tonight, they would force a Game 3, which would be scheduled approximately a half hour after the completion of Game 2. But Washington trying to hang tough here. The first thing they got to do is not allow any more Missouri runs and then have a big comeback in the top of the seventh. Hey, they scored 5 in the sixth inning last weekend. Why not do it again?
It's certainly possible. They've shown that they can do it again. It's against a very difficult pitcher, but it's coming around. Kimmy Pullman just absolutely squared up that first pitch from Chelsea Thomas, putting it over Ray Taylor's head. So it's possible. They're just going to have to, like you said, first things first, play some good defense. Like when the Huskies come out of this, they're going to look and say, we made too many mistakes and made it too easy on them. We've got to play our best softball if we're going to compete and try and get back to the College World Series, but that's really what it's about. If you're going to go to the World Series, you better be playing well.
Marla Schweisberger will lead it off for the Tigers here in the sixth. She is the number 6 hitter in the lineup. First pitch on the way to her is a change. That's in for a called strike. Caitlin Inglesby has allowed an unearned run in the first and then wild pitched a run home in the fifth. Also allowed a solo home run to Nicole Hudson, and the fourth run scored on an infield ground ball with a runner on at third. Next pitch on the way, infield pop-up, and it's going to land in the glove of Shauna Wright, who finds it this time and makes the catch for out number 1.
I thought for sure that Shauna was going to dance around that one, but she saw it right off the bat and easily went over to make the catch on that one.
And a nice way to get the inning started defensively, a foul pop-up. That'll bring up Lisa Simmons, the left fielder. Simmons, 1 for 2 in the ball game, singled her first time up. First pitch on the way from Inglesby now, swung on, fly ball out in the right field. Coming in quickly is the right fielder, Ashley Tuiasosopo, makes a sliding catch as she grabs the ball right above the grass for out number 2. Good defense right there from Ashley Tuiasosopo.
And it wasn't a head-first dive. She came in sliding feet first, got her glove under the ball and squeezed it tight. Great play by Ashley. She just got a tremendous jump on the ball. When she was sliding, she had to backhand it, was able to keep it in the glove and record the out. That's how you help your pitcher.
Tuiasosopo playing defense only for the Huskies tonight. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter up there for the Missouri Tigers. Coming up is Madison Rugberg, right-handed hitter. So, Early Wine going to his bench for the second time in the ballgame. And the first pitch on the way to Rugberg is going to be up a little bit high.
And it's nice to have a .333 hitter on your bench, Mike, because that's what Rugberg's hitting for the season. He's hitting .333. She's got 4 home runs and 25 RBIs.
Next pitch on the way from Caitlin now, and that one taken all the way, but it's in for a called strike, 1-1. 2 out, nobody on for the Tigers here in the bottom of the sixth, but they do lead it somewhat comfortably, 4-0. They have Chelsea Thomas in the circle.
Gotta love Missouri's crowd. Got a 4-0 lead. Any pitch that doesn't go their way, they're moaning and groaning.
Next delivery on the way now, swing and a miss. As Rugberg got way out in front of that changeup, 1-2. Missouri 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Huskies no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Both hits for the Huskies off the bat of Kimmy Pullman. Next delivery on the way now from Inglesby, swing and a miss. And she gets Rugberg swinging here to end the bottom of the sixth inning. But the Tigers just 3 outs away from taking game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional Series. We'll see what happens when we come back with the 7th inning. The score, Missouri 4, the Huskies nothing.
It's almost barbecue season, and you want to make sure you have the best for your grill. So stop by Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Located in Park Place Center, Tim's Seafood offers the freshest seafood around. Crab, halibut, salmon, Pacific snapper, homemade crab cakes, ahi poke, and more. Plus, Tim's has all the mouth-watering recipes to go with it. Call 425-827-0195 or go to timseafood.com.
For your next barbecue, remember Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Because friends don't let friends eat farm salmon.
Trust. It's something that's earned, not given. If you're looking at having some remodeling done to your home, you want to work with a company you can trust. You can't afford not to. You want the services of Marquis Construction Company. For over 30 years, they've been serving the community with complete remodeling and alteration services. They've been earning Seattle's trust one home at a time. That's Marquis Construction Company. Find them in the Yellow Pages, and remember, they're proud to sponsor UW Athletics.
Hey, Husky fans, you know where dog fans celebrate? Of course you do. For 57 years, it's been the North Lake Tavern. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, their specialty pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Why don't you stop by soon, maybe even tonight? Hey, it's a Saturday, what the heck? North Lake Tavern and Pizza, located at the north end of Lake Union. And do remember, folks, 21 and older for inside dining at our longtime sponsor, the North Lake Tavern and Pizza House. Well, the Huskies hoping to give their fans something to celebrate, but they got a lot of work to do in a short period of time in order to make it happen. Down 4-0, Washington will send up the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters in their lineup against Chelsea Thomas, who has struck out 12 Huskies through 6 innings. That's pretty sharp pitching, John, to say the least.
And she's been on her game. She's shown that she can do it with the hard stuff, change up, and the rise ball has gotten quite a few Huskies swinging and missing for strike 3. So Chelsea Thomas, a complete pitcher, and has had command of the strike zone all night long.
Now Morgan Stewart will lead it off. She's had an interesting time at the plate. She's had extended at-bats before going down both times. She's 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the second and hit into a fielder's choice in the fourth that forced Kimmy Pullman over at third base. But she's fouled off a bunch of pitches from Chelsea Thomas. Just hasn't been able to get the right part of the bat on the right part of the ball. And maybe after those 2 extended at-bats and seeing perhaps as many pitches as any Husky hitter from Chelsea Thomas, maybe she can get something going here with a single.
I like how Morgan has been aggressive all game long. Each at-bat she's come up with a purpose, and she's seeing a ball in the zone and taking a hack at it. And as you said, extending that last at-bat was nice work, just didn't end the way she wanted it to.
First pitch to Stewart, a change that misses 1-0. You look down on the Husky dugout, boy, the enthusiasm is as though they were ahead 4-0. So they're not giving up until all 21 outs have been recorded. So far, 18. Next pitch on the way to Morgan Stewart, a called strike 1-1.
You got Taylor Smith in there, and Taylor's obviously not going to play anymore this season after the back surgery, but she is a big part of that dugout and the energy they bring.
Next pitch, swing and a miss on the changeup, makes it 1-2. Yeah, Taylor Smith made the trip despite the recent back surgery. Got here in one piece, and she says, my vocal cords are 100%. And she's using them right now as the pitch is on the way and outside Morgan Stewart. And that was nothing but gas right there from Chelsea Thomas. Wow. She probably hit 70 right there on that one. He's dealing.
No gun out here at the games today.
Next pitch to Stewart. Down low, and she's worked the count full.
You know, Mike, I got to admit, the one thing that's been hard for me to do here from this vantage point is judge the height on the pitches and which ones are in the zone and which ones are out.
Yeah, John and I to the left of home plate. We're not behind it. The next delivery swung on. Ground ball hit the first on several hops. Juggling the ball a little bit and then stepping on the bag is Catherine Lee to record out number 1. Got to bring up Shauna Wright.
Now Morgan doing the right thing, busted down the line because you hit it right at somebody if there's enough spin, and you never know what's going to happen. But Lee was able to corral it, get to the bag ahead of Morgan.
So Shauna Wright 0 for 2 in the ball game. First pitch swinging, can't catch up with some heat right there, and it's 0-1. Wright has struck out in both of her plate appearances.
Thought we might see Jaren Fa'asua here, give her an opportunity to get an at-bat and at least get a look at Chelsea Thomas today.
The pitch. Called strike 2 on Shauna Wright. Yeah, Jaren Fa'asua, in case you hadn't heard earlier in our broadcast, we mentioned she was cleared by doctors to play. She's missed the last several weeks because of concussion symptoms, but now able to play, but has not gotten in the game. There's a change swung on. Ground ball hit left side, scooped up by Hudson at third. She'll throw low to first base, but making the scoop is Catherine Lee for out number 2. And now the Huskies 1 out from losing this game 1.
That was a nice defense by Hudson, cutting across the middle. If it gets to the shortstop, Shauna might have a chance to beat it out. It was a close play as it was, but Hudson cut across the diamond, picked up that ground ball, and threw. Nice catch by Catherine Lee as well.
Crowd on their feet as Victoria Hayward comes up and is badly fooled on a pitch that was low and outside. In fact, it was in the dirt. She swung at it, 0-1. 2,595 in attendance here at University Field, and over 95% of them very happy right now as their Missouri Tigers lead Washington 4-0 with 2 out and nobody on here in the 7th.
Well, you got to give Victoria credit. It didn't bounce until it got to home plate, Mike. So it was just a wicked drop ball that started at the knees, broke down.
Ready to get back to action now. The pitch to Hayward, and she runs up on one that's in for a called strike, taken all the way. And now 1 strike separating Missouri and a victory here in game 1. A lot of black and gold standing around the stadium, including all of the outfield wall. The pitch. And that one's up high, 1-2.
Victoria with 2 strikes, worked her hands way up on the bat, trying to give herself as much control as she could. Able to lay off that rise ball that was over her head.
Infield playing in all the way around for Hayward. And the pitch to Victoria swung on and missed, and that'll do it for the Huskies here in game number 7. Hayward strikes out to end the ball game, the 13th strikeout victim of Chelsea Thomas, and she and the Missouri Tigers take control of the series early on here, winning game 1 by the final score of 4-0. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base for the Huskies in the 7th. Final score again, Missouri 4, Washington 0. Back to the final totals after this timeout.
Do you remember the 1940s? Many of us don't. But there's a company in town that does. It's K.C. Martin Automotive and K.C. Martin Transmissions, established in 1948. A lot has changed since then, but choose K.C. Martin for your automotive needs and you'll still get the same professional service that folks enjoyed over 60 years ago. Their goal is still to provide the latest in technology, the highest quality, the most affordable rate, and to do it at a minimum amount of time.
K.C. Martin Automotive Service and K.C. Martin Transmission at kcmartin.com.
Dog fans, have you heard? Canines are the newest weapons in the fight against growing bedbug infestations. So contact Pioneer Pest Detection. One dog can sweep an entire room or apartment in just 3 to 4 minutes with 97% accuracy, while a pest control professional may take up to an hour for the same job with just 30 to 40% accuracy. Tired of those bedbugs biting? Well, bite back with canine bedbug inspections and treatment from Pioneer Pest Detection. Find out more and view our brochure at pioneerpestdetection.com.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Are you looking for a late model car, pickup, SUV, or van? Then why not try the James G. Murphy Company Auctioneers? All of our vehicles are sold with no minimum bids or buyer's premium. And our next auction features over 200 late model vehicles. So don't miss this opportunity to bid on the vehicle of your choice. The James G. Murphy Company is located just off Bothell Way on 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore.
For more information about our next auction, call 425-486-1246 or see us on the web at murphyauction.com.
Lewis, My last text message asked if you were getting my text, and you texted back, no.
Strange times, Clark.
I sent you a link to HorizonAir and AlaskaAir.com.
As long as you're not asking to friend me.
There were all sorts of interesting things there. Can you guess how many miles you get just for signing up for the mileage plan?
7.
500.
Close.
And guess how many flights Horizon and Alaska have out of Seattle?
7.
I'll give you a hint. More than any other airline.
7.
More than 200. And how many cities Alaska and Horizon fly to nonstop from Seattle?
Not 7.
I have no idea, but I bet I could find it online.
You do that, and then go to iwishclarkwouldshutupnow.com.
Once I have the answer, I'll text it to you.
Text this, Clark.
Lewis?
Join the Alaska Airlines mileage plan and earn generous miles towards free worldwide travel on Alaska, Horizon, and our many mileage plan partners. Sign up today at alaskaair.com.
We're back live at University Field in Columbia, Missouri, where the host Missouri Tigers have just defeated the Washington Huskies by the final score of 4-0. Welcome back. It's Mike Brown here, along with John Colley on the postgame show. And let's begin with the final totals in the ball game. For Missouri, 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 4 runners left on base. For the Huskies, no runs, just 2 hits, both by Kimmy Pullman. 1 error and 4 runners left on base. Winning pitcher in the ball game, Chelsea Thomas, the Tiger starter. She wins her 30th ball game. She's now 30-6. Meantime, the Husky loser was Caitlin Inglesby, who's now 25-9. A record crowd of 2,595 were here at University Field to watch the ball game that was played in 2 hours and 10 minutes. There was 1 home run hit in the ball game, that by Nicole Hudson, her 13th of the year. It came in the 3rd with 1 out and nobody on. Made the score 2-0 at that particular time. Hudson also doubled in the ball game. With the victory, Missouri improves to 51-8 overall. More importantly, they take Game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional Series, and if they win Game 2 tomorrow, they will be moving on to the World Series. For the Huskies, their record is now 37-15. They need to take 2 from the Tigers tomorrow, beginning with Game 2 at 4 o'clock Seattle time. If they win that game, they'll go right on to Game 3 and have to win that one to earn a spot in the Women's College World Series. Once again, the final score, Missouri 4, Washington 0. Back with more on the post-game show after this timeout.
Are you a building owner, engineer, or contractor in the industrial and commercial marketplace? CM Hoskins Company is your source for vibration isolation, seismic restraint, thermometer gauges, and accessories. CM Hoskins Company, in the business of vibration isolation and seismic restraint of commercial and industrial heating and ventilating equipment since 1976. Put our wealth of knowledge and experience to work for you. Call 206-366-1100.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
It's almost barbecue season, and you want to make sure you have the best for your grill. So stop by Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Located in Park Place Center, Tim's Seafood offers the freshest seafood around. Crab, halibut, salmon, Pacific snapper, homemade crab cakes, ahi poke, and more. Plus, Tim's has all the mouth-watering recipes to go with it. Call 425-827-0195 or go to timseafood.com.
For your next barbecue, remember Tim's Seafood in Kirkland, because friends don't let friends eat farm salmon.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com.
Remember the 50s? The Northwest was booming, Elvis was king of rock and roll, and locals gathered at Burgermaster for good food and good times. You can relive that golden era at Burgermaster. We're still your favorite old-fashioned drive-in, offering all your favorites: shakes, malts, fries, and the messiest burgers in town. Made with locally grown pasture-fed beef. Masters of the burger since 1952. Visit one of our 5 locations today: University, Aurora, Everett, Bothell, and off 520 in Bellevue.
Don't say hamburger, say Burgermaster.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
We're back live in Columbia, Missouri, where the Washington Huskies just went down to defeat, losing to Missouri by the final score of 4-0. I'm Mike Brown along with John Cowley. So Missouri wins game 1 of the best of 3 Super Regional Series. Going to move on to our Player of the Game segment now. We welcome up to the broadcast booth right fielder Ashley Tuiasosopo. Well, Ashley, I guess no surprise, Chelsea Thomas was the real deal, wasn't she?
Yeah, Chelsea Thomas is a great pitcher. Missouri's a great team, and you get to the part in the year where you got to come out every day and play because you're facing some great opponents. So,
I know you didn't get to hit against her, but what were your teammates saying about her in the dugout while you were up there?
I mean, just like I said before, she's a great pitcher. She has a great drop ball. So they just had to get some information on her and make their adjustments, and we're fine.
Mm-hmm. You made a nice catch out there in right field. Tell us about that play.
Honestly, I saw the ball, thought need to catch it, and wanted to dive. I've been visualizing of a diving catch this whole game. So when it came, I thought this is the best opportunity to go for it.
Sliding grab, nice going there.
And I don't think you were going to make it if you didn't get down either.
I don't know. All I thought was catch the ball, so that was what my gut told me to.
Now, afterwards, we were waiting to talk to you. We saw Coach bring the team together, and we never asked you to divulge your secrets, obviously, but the tone was what I was interested in, and you don't hear any panic. You didn't see any yelling or screaming. What was the tone like with the players and the coach in that meeting?
I mean, well, the great thing about this tournament is it's the team that wins the first 2 games, so we got to come back tomorrow, and we have business to do. No panic because we still got games to play. I mean, there's no need to panic. We just come back tomorrow, make our adjustments, have fun out there, and we're still in a great spot to make another run to the World Series. So.
You are in the Super Regionals, and only 16 teams get there. So we're going to let you go. I know you got to get together with teammates and whatnot, and we got another day tomorrow. So hopefully you can win 1 and then 1. It isn't 2, it's 1 and then 1, right? All right, Ashley Tuiasosopo, once again, Husky right fielder, joining us here in the press box on the post-game show. Once again, Missouri beating the Huskies by the final score of 4-0. John and I will tell you about other scores in the tournament when we come back after this timeout.